Chapter 626. The moment the order is officially given, I can actually directly teleport from my villa to the Ganwu department in the virtual universe. Luo Feng looked at the detailed details of the mail on the screen. After memorizing all the important rules, he couldn't help but nod in satisfaction. To the Ganwu department. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. Shua. He immediately vanished from his desk and teleported to the Ganwu department in the virtual universe. Within the virtual universe, there was a main space. This space had many continents, and every continent represented a universe country. Surrounding these continents were densely packed islands. These islands either represented middle-level civilizations or special locations. Like the Ganwu continent's Black Dragon Mountain Island, that was where the citizens of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire would normally go after entering the virtual universe network. Ganwu continent's Amethyst Island. This was an incomparably beautiful island made entirely out of amethyst. The entire island's area wasn't inferior to the Black Dragon Mountain Island at all. On the island, there were countless palaces made out of amethyst. Each palace's height and grandeur were clearly differentiated. In the center, the amethyst palace that was over 10,000 kilometers tall was the most eye-catching one. Under the sunlight, this majestic amethyst palace reflected all sorts of beautiful colors. This amethyst island was the Virtual Universe Company's office in the Ganwu department. As the universe was simply too vast, the office was naturally located in the virtual universe. Everything is normal. However, the headquarters suddenly sent a supervisor envoy over. This Luo Feng. Why is he in such a rush to break through to the domain lord level? Within the huge hall, there was a huge round table with a diameter of over 1,000 m. Beside the table were 3 huge thrones. At this time, there was a person sitting on each throne. The one speaking was an ape-man with fur on his face. He was dressed in an exquisite and beautiful purple robe, frowning as he spoke. Chi. His purple robe emanated threads of purple lightning. What's the use of you being unhappy? Even if this Luo Feng doesn't break through to the domain lord level right now, in a few thousand years, he'll still become one. His home is also the Ganwu Universe country. When the time comes, he'll still come to our Ganwu department as a supervisor envoy. With long golden hair that glowed like the sun, and 3 golden feathers on his head, this devilishly handsome man said with disdain. Purple lightning marquis, gold feather marquis. A gentle voice resounded. It was a barefooted young lady covered in a black veil. Her gaze seemed to cause the space around her to distort. The order has been given. This Luo Feng will soon take over. There's no point in arguing here at this time. The ape-man Purple Lightning Marquis and the evil-looking Golden Feather Marquis looked over. Luo Feng's identity is the supervisor envoy. He has the authority to investigate the many things we've done. I'm afraid he'll find evidence against us, said the black-masked lady softly. The Purple Lightning Marquis is in charge of the Commerce Department. There are many messy transactions within the Commerce Department. No matter how good the accounts are, and how much evidence has been destroyed, if someone were to seriously investigate, monkey, even if you aren't imprisoned in the Starfield prison, you will still be able to escape. You have to go to the foreign battlefield to atone for your crimes. The evil man chuckled. Is your warrior's department clean? The ape-man looked at the evil man coldly. It's still better than your business department. The evil-looking man raised his eyebrows. All right. The black-masked lady creased her eyebrows, ordering softly. Immediately the two looked at the black-masked lady. She seemed a little angry. There are some things that can't be avoided. As long as the supervisor envoy is determined to investigate, with enough time, he'll definitely find some problems. Even if the problems aren't serious, removing us from our positions won't be a problem. The ape-man and the gold-haired evil man nodded in agreement. No matter what, we have to keep our positions, the ape-man said seriously. The three tycoons of the Ganwu department, what kind of status did they have? They held great authority. They were much stronger than normal official-level undyings. The warriors department, the business department, and the army, actually the hardest and safest to investigate was the army. Because the army was simply too huge, and it was jointly managed with the Ganwu Universe country, if the supervisor envoy wanted to investigate the army, he would have to go through the upper echelons of the Ganwu Universe country. It would be extremely complicated. It would be much easier for the warriors and business department to investigate. Firstly, that Luo Feng isn't an idiot. If he's determined to investigate, that's forcing us to go against him. The black-masked lady said softly, "This won't do him any good. If he dares to do that, we'll kill him in secret." The gold-haired evil man said coldly. "Kill?" The ape-man sneered. "Gold feather official, do you think his teacher True Yen is an idiot? True Yen is a being second only to the Holy Lord amongst the ape-man race, and he's extremely tyrannical and famous for being protective. If you really dare to kill him in secret, unless you've done it flawlessly, even wiping your own memories and not letting True Yen find out, otherwise you're dead." The gold-haired evil man squinted. True Yen? Killing him, gold feather official, was as easy as killing an ant. All of you wake up. This Luo Feng made it into the primal region in his first qualification battle. Such a genius. He'll definitely be noticed by the upper echelons of the headquarters. The black-masked lady said coldly, "And he still has that True Yen Emperor behind him. Even if we make a move, we'll at most teach him a lesson and let him suffer a little. We definitely can't kill him. The moment we do, that'll be the end of us." The ape-man and the gold-haired evil man nodded. "We have no other way." The black-masked lady pointed into space and a screen appeared. On it was a detailed plan. "These are the 3 plans my underlings have written, take a look." The two looked. After looking, the two exchanged glances. "Let's hope that Luo Feng is a smart man. That way, he'll be able to enjoy his time as the supervisor envoy and enjoy himself. The 3 of us won't have to worry too much. Otherwise, we'll all suffer together." The gold-haired evil man snorted softly. After a while, beep, 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 beep. A piercing alarm resounded within the hall. The 3 tycoons stood up fiercely. "He's here." The black-masked lady said softly, "Let's go, we have to passionately welcome the supervisor envoy." "Right, passionately welcome." The ape-man nodded. "Extremely passionately." The gold-haired evil man intentionally revealed his most friendly smile. Amethyst Island's easternmost area was an amethyst reef that was a few tens of square meters. A beautiful light shot into the sky and Luo Feng appeared on it. "This is the Ganwu department's office in the virtual universe?" Luo Feng was dazzled by the light that shone on the island. The entire island was simply a huge work of art. Under the sunlight, the amethyst palaces were indeed beautiful enough to make one's heart tremble. So, Luo Feng immediately flew up and headed towards the center of the island. As the island was simply too huge, comparable to the Black Dragon Mountain Island. After flying for about 100,000 kilometers, Luo Feng saw the huge amethyst plaza filled with a blur of silhouettes. With a glance, he couldn't see the end of it. At the front of the blur of silhouettes stood 3 silhouettes. Dressed in a luxurious purple robe, the ape-man seemed very elegant. He had a smile on his face and his body was surrounded by purple lightning. A man with an incomparably glaring golden long hair. His smile was resplendent and his entire being was like the sun that made one feel warm. A barefooted lady dressed in a black robe. Her casual allure made Luo Feng feel good even though he knew it was a lure. "Welcome Supervisor Envoy Mr. Luo Feng." The black-robed lady smiled. "What?" The blur of silhouettes that one couldn't see the end of all of them knelt down and shouted respectfully, "Greetings Your Majesty Luo Feng." "Greetings Your Majesty Luo Feng." The hundreds of undyings bowed. Luo Feng, welcome to our Ganwu department. The black-robed lady smiled and said, Luo Feng, I've long heard of your name. To be able to make it into the primal region in such a short time, I'm impressed, truly impressed. The golden-haired man's smile was resplendent. His entire being seemed very friendly and warm. Haha. Luo Feng, I'm from the Crown Yin clan of the Eight-Man race. Your teacher True Yin is the greatest being of the Kahan clan. I've admired him since young, and have always treated him as my target. To be able to see his disciple today, I'm really happy. Haha. The ape-man was extremely passionate. Luo Feng stood there, looking at the three tycoons' passionate welcome, the hundreds of undyings bowing respectfully and the countless people kneeling down. He was stunned. This Ganwu department's welcome was simply too grand. And these three tycoons were all official-level undyings. In terms of position, they weren't any lower than him, yet they were so passionate? Luo Feng. The black-robed lady walked over and smiled. Let me introduce you. I know the three of you. Luo Feng spoke immediately, looking at the black-robed lady. You should be the head of the army department, Black Yen official Wei Sa. The black-robed lady smiled and nodded. You should be the head of the military department, Gold Feather official Ai Fu. Luo Feng looked at the golden-haired man who smiled and nodded. You should be the head of the business department, Purple Lightning official Jin Qian. Luo Feng looked at the ape-man. He laughed loudly and nodded. Looks like Luo Feng understands the three of us quite a bit. Even before you've arrived, you've already understood us quite a bit. With your scouting abilities, this supervisor envoy job will definitely be very easy. I'll have to trouble the three of you to help me. Luo Feng smiled. Of course. Definitely. It's my duty. The three magnates smiled and nodded. Luo Feng, let me introduce you. The black-robed lady smiled and pointed at the blur of silhouettes and the undyings bowing respectfully behind her. Our Ganwu department, because we need to manage the over 10,000 star fields of the Ganwu universe country, over 100 million galaxies. So other than us three ministers, there are 322 other undyings, as well as important people in charge of star fields and galaxies, a total of 820 million people, all here. Luo Feng held his breath. Looking at the endless number of people kneeling in front of him, it turned out that there were 820 million people. No wonder even his own vision could not see them clearly. Luo Feng's gaze swept past the 322 undyings. He suddenly saw a green-skinned old man with a head full of wrinkles. He was shocked within. Man Luo? This old man. It was the old man Luo Feng frequently saw back in the Black Dragon Mountain Island killing field. 3 chapters completed. It's the end of the month. Don't waste your monthly tickets. Let's support Tomato. There were no monthly tickets, but there were free recommendation tickets. Tomatoes loved them too. Chapter 627. Luo Feng. Man Luo saw Luo Feng look over. As an undying, his memory was very good. He revealed a friendly smile. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Back then, that huge figure man Luo from the killing fields had actually become his underling. Luo Feng felt that things were very mysterious. Black Yen official. Luo Feng looked at the 3 tycoons beside him and said softly, "There's no need to keep everyone kneeling, let them disperse." Luo Feng, you are indeed kind and merciful. Gold Feather official Ai Fu smiled. Luo Feng's heart trembled. His actions were called kind and merciful? This military department head Gold Feather official Ai Fu's passion. Luo Feng couldn't take it anymore. The black-robed lady ordered, "Disperse." That gentle voice reverberated throughout the entire Amethyst Island. Yes, the 820 million heads in charge of the many starfields and over 100 million galaxies bowed respectfully, after which they became beams of light and flew towards the various directions of the island. Fellow Undyings, follow the 3 of us and accompany the supervisor envoy Luo Feng to have a good look at the island and the operations of the Ganwu department. The black-robed lady ordered. Yes. Including Man Luo, the 322 Undyings all bowed. Man Luo and the 322 Undyings followed behind Luo Feng, Gold Feather Official, Black Yen Official and Purple Lightning Official, these four tycoons. The moment it involved their subordinates, these Undyings would have to immediately step out to explain. Back then, that punk that participated in the genius battle, when he first appeared in the killing fields with his big brother and second brother, he was so young. Even during the genius battle, he wasn't that strong. Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye 200 years later, he'd become the fourth tycoon of the Ganwu department? Man Luo looked at Luo Feng and exclaimed within, Purple Lightning Official and the other two must be incredibly passionate, making Luo Feng happy. Otherwise, if Luo Feng were to fall out, the three of them wouldn't have a good time. Man Luo. The ape-man Purple Lightning Official roared. Head. Man Luo walked to the front and bowed. The Black Dragon Mountain Starfield's business department is under you. Purple Lightning Official Jin Qian glanced at Man Luo. Luo Feng's home is from the Black Dragon Mountain Starfield. He wants to know more about the situation there. You give him an answer. Yes. Man Luo bowed slightly. Mr. Man Luo, long time no see. Luo Feng turned and smiled at Man Luo. Indeed, it has been a long time since we last met. Your Highness Man Luo is very surprised. Man Luo said with a smile. Okay, we'll talk as we walk. Luo Feng nodded. Within the main palace of Amethyst Island, Luo Feng was accompanied by Purple Lightning Official, Gold Feather Official and Black Yen Official, along with over 300 Undyings, touring the important departments of the Ganwu department. Luo Feng could also ask a few simple questions to gain a basic understanding of the Ganwu department's operations. There was a resting hall in the palace. Purple Lightning Official, Gold Feather Official, Black Yen Official and Luo Feng were gathered together. The other Undyings had already retreated. If I didn't look, I wouldn't have known, but with one look, the power of the Virtual Universe Company is everywhere. It's really shocking. Luo Feng picked up the precious fruit before him, chewing on it as he said, the entire Ganwu Universe country's livelihood, economy etc. has been completely controlled by the Virtual Universe Company. Of course. Ape-man Purple Lightning Official smiled. Humanity's 5 great leviathans, the Universe Mercenary Alliance values the strong, the Universe First Bank and Universe Galaxy Bank are mainly in charge of bank storage and investment business. The Battleaxe Dojo also values the strong. Only our Virtual Universe Company controls the entire economy of humanity. The 1008 universe country's economy is completely controlled by our Virtual Universe Company. Luo Feng exclaimed. The Virtual Universe Company was indeed very powerful. It seemed like the universe had many large corporations, businesses, powers etc., however all of them were controlled by the Virtual Universe Company. Just like those companies that created virtual games, all of their games required a virtual space. They all had to rent it from the Virtual Universe Company. Like the slaughterhouses, they were all monopolized. Even the Battleaxe Dojo's broadcasts in the Virtual Universe Network required money from the Virtual Universe Company. Anyway, humanity couldn't leave the Virtual Universe Network. Hence, the Virtual Universe Company controlled the entire economy of humanity. Even the Universe Army was split 50-50 with the Battleaxe Dojo, each controlling 504 universe countries' armies. Any country, any family, any organization, as long as they want to develop, they have to work with our Virtual Universe Company. Ape-man Purple Lightning Official's eyes were filled with confidence. Even the other 4 Leviathans work with us, much less those countries and families. In terms of business, our Virtual Universe Company has an absolute monopoly. Economic control, countless treasures, strong as the clouds, hence the number of geniuses our Virtual Universe Company absorbs every year, is the highest amongst the 5 Leviathans. Gold Feather Official said confidently. In the Ganwu Universe Country, our Ganwu department has half of the control. The other half belongs to the Ganwu Universe country leader, the black-robed lady said softly. The three tycoons, their words were filled with absolute confidence. Luo Feng couldn't help but tremble within. He truly felt the power and control of the Virtual Universe Company. No wonder the Ganwu Universe country leader couldn't wait to send all the geniuses in the universe countries during the genius battles. From the looks of it now, the Ganwu Universe country leader could very well be a member of the Virtual Universe Company. Luo Feng, when are you coming to the Ganwu Universe country? The black-robed lady smiled. Right, when are you arriving? The golden-haired man and the ape man looked expectantly at Luo Feng. I've already reached Jade Dome Planet, Luo Feng said. What? The three tycoons were shocked. The primal region was extremely far from the Ganwu Universe country. Even in a universe ship, even an extremely powerful one, it would still take 1 to 2 years. You've actually reached Jade Dome Planet, and you didn't even tell us beforehand. Ape Man Purple Lightning official's face was filled with smiles. This is your fault. You are the supervisor envoy sent by the headquarters. You represent the headquarters. How can you just come to the Ganwu Universe country without a word? Gold Feather official, Black Yen official, we should follow the rules and prepare a welcoming feast for Luo Feng. Right. The black-robed lady nodded. Of course we have to prepare a welcoming feast, and it has to be very grand. We have to use this welcoming feast to announce to the upper echelons of the Ganwu Universe country. Our Ganwu Department Supervisor Envoy Luo Feng has arrived. Gold Feather official said. Leave this to me. Ape Man Purple Lightning official said. Your business department will be in charge of this. There definitely won't be a problem. Gold Feather official said. However, we have to show Luo Feng's identity. He is a primal region member, the supervisor envoy sent by the headquarters. The scale of the banquet has to be high too. Don't let those bullshit small families come and join in the fun. Luo Feng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The three of you, there's no need. Luo Feng opened his mouth. What do you mean there's no need? It's very necessary. The ape man said, Luo Feng, this isn't just your personal face, it's our Ganwu department's face, it's the entire Virtual Universe Company headquarters face. It's also your teacher Tru Yan's face. Luo Feng was completely speechless. Leave this to us. Gold Feather official said confidently. Let the scale be small, I don't like it too crowded, we'll do it within Jade Dome Planet. Luo Feng said. Small scale, don't like it too crowded? Alright, no problem. Ape Man Purple Lightning official, as the head of the business department, patted his chest and guaranteed. The Virtual Universe Company Ganwu department had a very high position in the Ganwu Universe country. As the Ganwu department represented the Virtual Universe Company, it had some management over the entire Ganwu Universe country. Even though on the surface it was the Ganwu country's manager, however, even the Ganwu country leader had to listen to the Virtual Universe Company. This resulted in 1008 universe countries. Any one of the departments would attract many official-level undyings to fight to become the department head. The three department heads, all of them had high positions. Compared to the 300 emperor officials, they were much stronger. An invitation from the Ganwu division? The headquarters is sending a supervisor envoy to join the Ganwu department? No wonder the three tycoons are so anxious. A banquet hosted by the three tycoons, we have to give them face. When the invitation was sent out, the entire upper echelon of the Ganwu Universe country was in an uproar. Invitation from the three tycoons of the Ganwu department? Who would dare not go? Jade Dome Planet, Tiansong City, Silver Snow official residence. Head ancestor. Teacher. 8 undyings bowed respectfully. Hundreds of sector lords, close to 10,000 people all knelt there. This was the true upper echelon of the Silver Snow official residence. Because of Ji Lan Deng's daughter, he could barely make it into the 10,000, hence he was able to kneel at the back of the crowd. And those 8 undyings, were all disciples of Silver Snow official Ji Tian-song, who broke through to become undyings over the countless years. Ji Shi family, how many geniuses could a family produce? The entire Snow Border Starfield had many more geniuses. Silver Snow official had nurtured 15 undyings over the countless years, and there were only 8 in the headquarters. Rise. A cold voice, almost causing the surrounding space to freeze. 8 undyings, hundreds of sector lords and close to 10,000 people all stood up respectfully. In front of them stood a man dressed in a silver-white robe, with long black hair and sideburns. This silver-robed man was just standing there. It made one feel like they were facing an endless world of ice and snow. He was Silver Snow official. Silver Snow official Ji Tian-song, one of the 300 emperor officials of the Ganwu Universe country. The 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department have personally sent me an invitation. Silver Snow official's voice was cold. This is a welcome banquet for the supervisor envoy sent by the Virtual Universe Company headquarters. They've sent invitations to all the important families in the universe country. As the scale is limited, I'll be bringing 2 people. Below, the 8 undyings, hundreds of sector lords and close to 10,000 upper echelon elites all looked up, their hearts burning with passion. Such a high-level banquet. Those who could attend were definitely the highest echelons of the Ganwu Universe country. Even Silver Snow official could only bring 2 people. Very obviously, many weaker undyings families didn't even have the right to attend. Yukon, Fengyan, you 2 follow me. Silver Snow official said indifferently. Yes. One of the undyings, along with a female sector lord amongst the hundreds of sector lords, all revealed expressions of joy, replying respectfully. Chapter 628. Silver Snow official glanced at the 2 and sighed within. Yukon was his favorite disciple. It was a pity that the 15 undyings under him weren't of the Ji Shi bloodline. Fengyan, full name Ji Fengyan, sector lord pinnacle warrior, was the one with the highest chance of reaching undying in Ji Tian-song's eyes. It's a pity that my Ji Shi, other than me, doesn't have a second undying. Silver Snow official sighed within. The chances of an undying being born was simply too low. Maybe in the entire universe country, there could be over 10,000 undyings, however it was limited to 1 family, even after so many years. It was very hard for 2 undyings to appear. Everyone else leave. Silver Snow official ordered. Yes. The 7 undyings, hundreds of sector lords and close to 10,000 family elites all left respectfully, leaving only the undying Yukon and sector lord Ji Fengyan. The news of the banquet the 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department held for the supervisor envoy quickly spread throughout the upper echelon of the Ganwu Universe country. However, this banquet was simply too small, the level was extremely high. Only the 300 emperor officials and a few stronger undying families received the invitations. And over 90% of the undyings didn't receive an invitation, much less the sector lord families. One could see how high the level was. This made many undyings exclaim, "Normally we don't even have the chance to meet the 3 tycoons. Who knew this banquet would be so small? We didn't even receive an invitation." The invitation from the Ganwu department was a symbol of status. Those who received the invitation were all the upper echelons of the Ganwu Universe country. Jade Dome Planet, Swallow Mountain Villa. Study room. The vines that covered the entire walls of the room suddenly shook, because the nutrition cabin's door automatically opened. A naked, short-haired youth, Luo Feng, whose body proportions were comparable to the gods of Earth's myths and legends, stood up from the ice-cold nutrition liquid. A genetic energy armor automatically appeared on his body, and his outer appearance changed into a silver-white armor. Mo Yun. Luo Feng smiled and touched a vine that extended over. "I'll go out first, you continue evolving." That vine's leaves waved up and down, almost like it was nodding. The study room door automatically opened. Luo Feng smiled as he walked out. Outside, a flash of light formed a human silhouette. It was Dylan. Your Majesty. Dylan smiled at Luo Feng. Congratulations on reaching Domain Lord Level 9. I've only just reached the Domain Lord Level 9. I haven't reached the pinnacle yet. Luo Feng smiled. If I had another half a month, I'd be able to reach the pinnacle. But, since tonight is the welcoming banquet, I have to come out. Your Majesty, the 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department have indeed given Your Majesty a lot of face. This welcoming banquet, I've heard that the 3 tycoons sent out an invitation together. Which of the Ganwu Universe countries' officials would dare not come? Dylan smiled. Your Majesty's face is definitely earned. It's all mutual. Luo Feng smiled. They're doing this because they want me to show mercy. You can even pick bones from an egg. The Ganwu department, since they were in charge of many things within the universe country, business, military, the implications of these were huge. To say that there were no problems at all, even the most principled person wouldn't be able to do it. After all, they could manage themselves, but it would be hard to manage their subordinate. If Luo Feng really wanted to investigate, even if the 3 of them were clean and above board, Luo Feng would still be able to give them a headache. Maybe Luo Feng could make use of his connections with his seniors, along with the official level undyings that wanted to be the head of the Ganwu department to help. Luo Feng could still get rid of 1 or 2 of them. What's more, Luo Feng reckoned that these 3 wouldn't be too clean either. Otherwise, why would they be so passionate? Your Majesty, are you prepared to do this? Dylan looked at Luo Feng. When the water is too clear, there won't be any fish. Luo Feng smiled and headed out. Dylan was slightly stunned. When the water is too clear, there won't be any fish. Your Majesty is indeed the disciple the ancestor favors. Dylan thought within, following Luo Feng and leaving. Luo Feng brought the entire guard army and swiftly headed towards the location of the banquet. Simultaneously, Luo Feng ordered one of his sector lords to head to the Bushka family mansion and bring his big brother Hong over. After a while, Xiang Shui City had a core plot of land with a diameter of close to 1,000 kilometers. A month ago, it was still a gathering place for the members of the Virtual Universe Company. However, within this month, the core plot was swiftly dismantled and the members were moved to other locations. And within 3 days, they built a luxurious villa that was close to 1,000 kilometers in area, called Luo Villa. Any supervisor envoy, after they took up their post, the Virtual Universe Company would help them build a place to stay. As one of the 4 tycoons of the Ganwu department, on Jade Dome Planet, a slightly larger villa that was comparable to a galaxy, building a 1,000 kilometers luxurious villa suited Luo Feng's status. Luo Feng and the others could already see the distant luxurious villa. Third brother, this is your new villa? Hong looked at the distant luxurious Luo villa. He couldn't help but be shocked. This is even bigger than the Bushka family residence. Your Majesty is the Ganwu department's supervisor envoy. His position is equivalent to the 3 heads. According to the size of the villa, it should be comparable to the 300 emperor officials. Standing beside Luo Feng, Dylan smiled and explained, as he was only here as a domain lord, hence the villa he built is slightly smaller than the Silver Snow official residence. Luo Feng smiled. Go, let's enter. Luo Feng ordered. Yes, Your Majesty. A group of people followed. Luo Villa had over 1 million servants. However, within a villa with a diameter of 1,000 kilometers, over 1 million servants wasn't considered much. Your Majesty, I've been ordered by Purple Lightning official to wait here. Your Majesty, I've been ordered by Gold Feather official. Black Yen official's orders. A male sector lord and 2 female sector lords stood at the entrance of the villa. When they saw Luo Feng, they all bowed respectfully. While bowing, the 3 secretly informed the 3 tycoons. So. 3 silhouettes immediately appeared at the entrance. Luo Feng. The black-robed lady shouted. Luo Feng, you really came on the last day. Ape-Man Purple Lightning official couldn't help but say. This is your villa, Purple Lightning official has spent quite a bit of effort on it, you should have come earlier to take a look. Gold Feather official said. Luo Feng smiled. I was busy with training, hence I only came today. Ah, so it's training, no matter what, training is the most important. The ape-man Violet Lightning Marquis nodded repeatedly, and the other Gold Feather Marquis and the black-veiled young woman smiled in agreement. These three great figures said in their hearts, You, this peerless genius, should wholeheartedly focus on cultivating. There's no need to worry about the supervision work. Under the three tycoons' welcome, Luo Feng entered the Luo Villa. The construction of the villa only took 3 days, and the preparation for this banquet took over 10 days. The main thing was that the precious ingredients had to be transported over from other parts of the universe. Since the three tycoons of the Ganwu department wanted to make it grand, giving Luo Feng face, naturally they did their best. At the same time, because the 300 emperor officials of the Ganwu universe country, along with other powerful undying families, were all quite far from Jade Dome planet. Hence the invitations were sent out a month in advance, allowing the important figures to rush over. In the blink of an eye, it was already dark. The entire Luo Villa was filled with light, one couldn't even see clearly what was going on within. And on this day, many incredibly expensive universe ships stopped in the air above the entrance of the villa, after which undyings walked down from the cabin doors, entering very formally the main hall of the banquet hall. Big brother, you stay in this resting room, I'll go receive the guests. When I need you to come out in a while, I'll inform you, Luo Feng said to Hong, placing him in a small quiet resting room. Luo Feng, quickly come over, the guests are about to arrive. Purple Lightning official, Gold Feather official and Black Yen official looked at Luo Feng. Coming. Luo Feng smiled and walked over, with 2 flashes. He went from one end of the hall to the other. Today we've invited after all the important figures of the Ganwu universe country, powerful figures, and since we've sent out the invitations, naturally we have to be polite. Ape-man Purple Lightning official smiled, however, from the entrance to the banquet hall, there's still a few hundred km, they won't rush over, instead they'll talk and walk, it should take a while before they arrive. Luo Feng nodded. The 4 tycoons of the Ganwu department stood at the 2 sides of the main hall. Looking into the distance, Luo Feng could clearly feel powerful origin law energies rippling outward. Some were as dazzling as light, some were as tyrannical as lightning, some were as forceful as the earth, some were as intense as the flames the origin laws emanated, the surrounding space began to warp and tremble. Finally, powerful figures appeared in the distance, the group of great figures from the Ganwu universe country. They were either dressed in grey long robes, barefooted with their long hair down, or in luxurious long robes, or in undying armors that reeked of blood, or riding small undying beasts, or completely covered in robes, revealing only their eyes. Some were 10 m tall, some not even half a meter tall. Some had fur all over their faces like beastmen. Some were completely bald, almost like they were made of metal without a single strand of hair. This group were mostly official-level undyings, in groups of 2 or 3, chatting with their good friends, pulling away from their enemies, heading towards the main hall. Luo Feng, Purple Lightning official communicated softly, other than the 300 emperor officials, there are other official-level undyings invited to the banquet, along with some with shocking backgrounds and power. There are also a few who are closer to you, like Bushka from the Bushka family, or the God Leader from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. They may not have the qualifications, but I've invited them too. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 629. Luo Feng nodded, looking at the distant group of undyings chatting as they walked. Gold Feather official, Purple Lightning official, Black Yen official. Walking right at the front was a man with a large nose, single horn, curly hair, dressed in a beautiful dark golden long robe, laughing loudly as he walked at the front of the group of undyings. With a flash, he arrived at the entrance of the main hall, smiling widely as he looked at Luo Feng. This must be the new supervisor envoy, Mr. Luo Feng. Haha, you run the fastest. Ape-Man Purple Lightning official laughed loudly, turning to look at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, this is one of the 300 Emperor officials of the Ganwu Universe country, Dragon Wing Emperor. Dragon Wing Emperor, how do you do? Luo Feng nodded and smiled. The Emperor officials of the Universe country were much lower in status. These 300 were all official level Undyings. Haha, I've long heard of your name. You've brought our Ganwu Universe country face. Today I finally get to meet you. Dragon Wing Emperor laughed loudly, following which he brought 2 of his underlings and entered the main hall under the guidance of the staff. Following which another Undying walked over, greeting the 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department and Luo Feng passionately. Undyings after Undyings brought their underlings over. The 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department and Luo Feng welcomed them one by one. After a while, Purple Lightning official, Gold Feather official, Black Yen official. Your invitation really makes me, the Black Dragon, very happy, haha. A tall and sturdy man covered in black dragon scales, with a black dragon horn on his head walked over passionately, his gaze gleaming fiercely when it landed on Luo Feng. Luo Feng, this is the God Lord from your hometown Black Dragon Mountain Empire, just call him Black Dragon. Ape-Man Purple Lightning official smiled and introduced. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. This tall and sturdy man emitted a ferocious beast energy. He was actually the God Lord of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire Sacred Land Black Dragon Mountain. Mr. Black Dragon, how do you do? Luo Feng smiled. Haha, you came from my Black Dragon Mountain Empire. I, Black Dragon Mountain, am extremely proud. The Black Dragon Mountain God Lord laughed. He was incomparably passionate as he walked into the main hall. The Ape-Man Purple Lightning official watched as Black Dragon entered the hall before communicating. Luo Feng, this God Lord from your hometown Black Dragon Mountain Empire, comes from the very weak Black Dragon Mountain tribe. That Black Dragon Mountain tribe has a total of about 10,000 pure race members. This Black Dragon is the head of the Black Dragon Mountain tribe. He built the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. His strength is average, and he's still a distance away from the official level. Normally, he wouldn't have the right to participate in such gatherings. Because he's the divine master of your hometown, he was able to come this time. Luo Feng nodded. One by one. It's him, Luo Feng's eyes flashed. A tall and skinny man with a head full of silver lumps brought a white-haired and kind-looking old man over. That white-haired old man. Luo Feng naturally recognized him. It was Hong's teacher, Time Sector Lord Luo. Beside him should be his good friend, Undying God Bushka. Bushka. The Ape-Man Purple Lightning official laughed and shouted, Haha, you've finally arrived. This Luo Feng. I don't need to introduce him. Luo Feng and Hong's relationship had long been revealed to the 3 tycoons the first time they met. And when Bushka received the invitation, he too knew the reason. The tall and skinny man with the lumps all over his head smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Beside him, Time Sector Lord Luo too looked at Luo Feng. Big brother is inside. Mr. Bushka, Mr. Luo, we'll chat later. Luo Feng nodded. The 2 nodded and entered the hall. The 3 tycoons of the Ganwu Empire sent out close to 1,000 invitations in total. Other than a small number of invitations for special reasons, such as adventuring in the universe's secret realms or adventuring in other races' territories, the rest had all arrived. About 80% of the invited guests had arrived. Luo Feng welcomed them one by one. He had a clear understanding of the upper echelon of the Ganwu Universe country. The so-called royal family, princes etc. were extremely laughable. The true rulers of this universe country were still these great Undyings. Gold Feather official, Purple Lightning official, Black Yen official. A clear voice resounded. A silver-robed man with long silver hair walked over with a man and a woman, simultaneously revealing a smile and greeting. Following which he looked at Luo Feng. Supervisor Envoy Mr. Luofeng, it's a pleasure to see you. Luofeng, this is Silver Snow official. The 8-man Purple Lightning official smiled and explained. He's here. The main character had arrived. The most important guest of this banquet had arrived. It was him who stopped his big brother and Ji Qing. Luofeng looked at the clear and cold silver-robed man and smiled. The great name of Silver Snow official, I've heard many people talking about you when I first arrived on Jade Dome planet. Even on this planet, there's a city named after you. Tiansong City. To be able to see you in person today, it's really a pleasure. Haha. Silver Snow official couldn't help but laugh. I've also heard my guard captain tell me the story of how Silver Snow Marquis pursued the immortal metallic lifeform Kubati. I can imagine how you, Silver Snow Marquis, chased through countless starfields, slaughtered your way into the territory of the bug race, and then finally killed Kubati amidst the bug race wave. It makes one's blood boil. Luofeng exclaimed. Silver Snow official's smile grew even wider. That was in the past, it's not worth mentioning, not worth mentioning. Silver Snow official seemed proud and aloof. However, it depended on who was speaking to him. Luofeng as a Primal Region member, the current supervisor envoy, his position wasn't any lower than him. As the new generation's absolute genius of the Virtual Universe Company, plus he had a teacher like True Yen Emperor behind him. He was definitely the pride of the entire human race in the universe. Such an absolute genius. These words immediately made Silver Snow official feel good. Silver Snow official, go in and rest first, we'll talk more later. Luofeng said. Silver Snow official smiled and nodded, following which he brought Yukon and Ji Fengyan into the banquet hall. This scene caused the Purple Lightning Marquis, the Gold Feather Marquis and the Black Yen Marquis to secretly exchange glances with each other. After receiving so many guests, I've never seen Luofeng so passionate. Right, it's almost like he's met someone he worships. Luofeng's status and experience are very high, there's no need for him to lower himself. Don't tell me he really worships Silver Snow official. Even though the 3 tycoons knew of Luofeng and Hong's relationship because of Luofeng, they didn't even know about Hong and Ji Qing. After all, as the high and mighty 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department, why would they have the leisure to care about the younger generation's love affairs? Hence when they saw Luofeng being so courteous, they were slightly suspicious. Finally, close to 1,000 undying guests had all entered the banquet hall. They all sat in groups of 2 or 3, discussing softly. The 3 tycoons and Luofeng all returned to the banquet hall. Gold Feather official. A voice resounded in Gold Feather's ears. He turned to look. In the distance sat Silver Snow official Ji Tiansong. Silver Snow official, you're looking for me? Gold Feather walked over and sat opposite him. There are some matters. Silver Snow official said. Isn't your military department in charge of the Ganwu Universe country's elite nurturing? What's up? Gold Feather looked at him. Nurturing geniuses, other than the genius battles, they were usually gathered from the entire universe. They were judged to be level 3, level 2, level 1 and special elites, finally selecting the most outstanding ones to enter the core. Actually, compared to the genius battles and hero battles, this method of nurturing geniuses wasn't inferior at all. The elite nurturing has a quota. Can you give my G-Sure family 50% more? Silver Snow official said. 50%? Gold Feather's lips curled up. That's too high. I still have things to do, I'll talk to you later. After which, Gold Feather immediately got up and left. This Silver Snow official really dares to ask 50% more? The Virtual Universe Company spent a huge amount of resources on nurturing their elite. His G-Sure family wanted so many people to enter and let the company nurture them, yet his G-Sure family didn't have to spend any money. TSK. Gold Feather's eyes gleamed with disdain, his entire being gave off an evil vibe. However, looking at the distant Luofeng, Gold Feather immediately adjusted his state. his entire being becoming warm and friendly. Luo Feng. Goldfeather smiled and walked over. Watching Marquis Goldfeather leave, Silver Snow Marquis Ji Tiantsang frowned slightly. At this moment, Ji Fengyan and Yukon returned. Ji Fengyan said in a low voice, "Clan ancestor, did Marquis Goldfeather agree?" Goldfeather didn't agree nor reject. Silver Snow official snorted coldly. Our Jishur family has 50% more slots in the Snow Border Starfield. Even in the entire Ganwu Universe country, it's not obvious at all, according to the quality of each generation's elites. The number of elites nurtured can fluctuate. Adding a few more in wouldn't require Goldfeather to waste his resources, however. If he's not satisfied, this matter will definitely be difficult. A family's future was more important. He had 15 undyings under him. If he was a general without an army, how would he have the power he had today? From a small family to a large race, nurturing the next generation was extremely important. Head ancestor. Ji Fengyan said softly. "HM?" Silver Snow official looked at Ji Fengyan. "I'm afraid everyone here can tell that Luo Feng himself is just a domain lord level 9 punk. Even though he's an absolute genius in the universe, the path to undying isn't that easy. He might even fall in the future. Among the many great undyings here, not many care about Luo Feng." Ji Fengyan said softly. "However, from start to finish, everyone has been very polite to him. Without a doubt, it's because of the 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department." Silver Snow official continued to look at Ji Fengyan. The 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department control too many resources. For a power to grow, they have to listen to the business department. The future nurturing of the family, they have to listen to the military department. Even if the strong want to be safer in the battlefield outside and gain more merit points, they have to listen to the military department. The 300 emperor officials, the many powerful undying families, none of them dare to not give the 3 tycoons face. Everyone is very polite to Luo Feng. It's because of the 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department, they are worried about that Luo Feng. That Luo Feng has the authority to supervise. Hence the 3 tycoons are so polite, personally inviting the important figures of the Ganwu Universe country and personally introducing every undying to Luo Feng. In the past, who has ever seen the 3 tycoons so polite? Usually it's others who are polite to them. Hence, Ji Fengyan said confidently, as long as we can convince that Luo Feng to help, his words will probably be very useful. Shem. Silver Snow official nodded. I understand this. However, that Luo Feng's background isn't small either. It won't be easy to get his help. Doesn't that Luo Feng respect the head ancestor a lot? Ji Fengyan said. Respect? Silver Snow official squinted his eyes, sighing for a while. In a while, I'll find this Luo Feng to have a chat. P.S. First chapter here. Chapter 630. Within the main hall of the banquet hall, the group of undyings and their underlings, a total of a few thousand people, were gathered within the hall. The 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department chatted for a while, before walking up to the high platform at the front of the hall. Attention all! Ape-Man Purple Lightning smiled as he looked at the many undyings below. Haha, the many undyings below all smiled and looked up, preparing to listen to the 3 tycoons speak. After the genius battles, there's always a batch in every era. However, to be able to defeat all those absolute geniuses that have trained for thousands of years and make it into the primal region, how many of them are there? Purple Lightning official said loudly. Everyone says that Bolin is a genius that only appears once in 10,000 eras. However, I want to say that this person is even stronger than Bolin. His improvement speed is much faster. Such a genius, he's probably a once-in-a-million eras, right? Who is he? Purple Lightning official was all smiles. He's our Ganwu department's new supervisor envoy, Luo Feng, and for a very long period of time, he'll be my Gold Feather and Black Yen official's best partner. Right, he'll be our best partner. The Virtual Universe Company's many matters in the Ganwu Universe country will require Luo Feng's supervision. Gold Feather official said too. The headquarters has sent Luo Feng to join our Ganwu department. Gold Feather, Purple Lightning official and I are incomparably happy to be able to work with true Yen Emperor's beloved disciple, the absolute genius Mr. Luo Feng. The black-robed lady smiled and said, her voice resounding within the ears of everyone in the hall, "Let us welcome Mr. Luo Feng up. Welcome. Welcome Luo Feng up." Purple Lightning official and Gold Feather official shouted passionately. With the three tycoons being so welcoming, how could the group of Undyings in the Ganwu Universe country not give them face? If they didn't give them face at such a crucial time, the moment the three tycoons remembered them, it would be troublesome. Hence the group of Undyings were all very welcoming. Luo Feng, Purple Lightning official shouted passionately. Luo Feng could only walk up the platform. The Ganwu department's welcoming of the three tycoons made the invited Undyings extremely shocked. These three tycoons of the Ganwu department are usually very arrogant. There aren't many in the Ganwu Universe country that can make them like that. But today isn't it just a supervisor envoy? Is there a need to do this? If that Luo Feng doesn't know what's good for him and does something behind his back to make him disappear, then there'll be no evidence at all. No matter what, he's just a domain lord level 9 punk. We have ways to deal with him. A few Undyings discuss. Kill Luo Feng. Don't you know his teacher is true Yen Emperor? True Yen dares to act recklessly without evidence? Haha, it seems like True Yen has stayed in Primal Chaos City for too long. It's been 1,000,000,000 years, many people have forgotten about him. This group of great Undyings, they were used to directly destroying their enemies. Hence, even though they knew Luo Feng was the supervisor envoy, he was after all a domain lord level 9 junior. This made many of them underestimate him. However, looking at the three tycoons of the Ganwu department being so attentive, obviously, the three heads of the Ganwu division were expressing their stance. We support Luo Feng. Luo Feng and we are in the same camp. We are the Ganwu department's 4 tycoons. Messing with Luo Feng is messing with the 3 of us. Actually, those words were just a stance, a declaration of their stance. Immediately it made the Undyings' thoughts change. In their hearts, Luo Feng's position began to rise. Offending Luo Feng is the same as offending the 3 tycoons. Offending the 3 tycoons, they'll be ostracized in the Ganwu Universe country. The many Undyings all saw it clearly. Obviously Purple Lightning official, Gold Feather official and Black Yen official don't have a strong enough background. They're more afraid of Luo Feng finding trouble with them. During the time Luo Feng has been the supervisor envoy, the Ganwu department has one more person we can't afford to offend. Luo Feng, he's also considered the 4th tycoon. The group of Undyings considered from their family's development, they all clearly recognized Luo Feng's importance. The 4 tycoons of the Ganwu department walked down from the platform. The many Undyings began to enjoy the banquet. Many waiters and waiters brought the ingredients the 3 tycoons brought over from all over the universe. Immediately the entire hall was filled with bustling discussions. Gold Feather official and the other 2 are so obvious, obviously they support Luo Feng. Silver Snow official sat in the corner, smiling and nodding. As long as we can get Luo Feng's help, this matter will more or less be settled. Ji Fengyan said softly. Teacher, look over there, Bushka. Yukon said. Silver Snow turned to look. With a glance he saw the distant tall and skinny man with a head full of silver lumps, coldly saying, Bushka? The person beside him should be Hong's teacher, Luo. I didn't expect them to have the right to attend this banquet. I really don't know what Gold Feather and the other 2 are thinking. Head ancestor, about Hong and Little Qing. Ji Fengyan said softly. Chase that punk out of Jade Dome Planet, or kill him, it's useless. Silver Snow official said coldly. Make Ching Ching give up and forget about that punk, that's what I need. As for that Bushka, he still doesn't dare mess with me. And that punk called Hong, he's not even a threat at all. We'll settle it however we want. Ji Feng Yen and Yukon nodded. In their eyes, Hong was like mud, they could do whatever they wanted. Stay here, I'll go talk to Luo Feng. Silver Snow official stood up. Yes, head ancestor, teacher. Ji Feng Yen and Yukon said respectfully. After Silver Snow official stood up, he immediately headed towards Luo Feng, who was chatting with a few undyings. He's here. Luo Feng noticed from the corner of his eye that Silver Snow official was walking over, thinking, I haven't even gone to find him, and he's already taking the initiative to find me. Listen well. Luo Feng communicated to a sector lord standing at the side of the banquet hall. In a while, when I'm chatting with Silver Snow official, go to the resting room and bring my big brother into the main hall. When it's time, get him to call for me. Yes, Your Majesty. That sector lord nodded. After a while, Silver Snow official took the initiative to chat with Luo Feng. Luo Feng was incomparably passionate, using the attitude of a senior to talk about Silver Snow official, expressing his shock and respect. And watching this scene, the sector lord standing at the side of the main hall's eyes gleamed. He immediately turned and headed towards the resting room. He pushed open the door and entered. Within the resting room, Hong sat on the sofa. HM? Hong turned to look at the sector lord who entered. Mr. Hong. The sector lord communicated. His Majesty has ordered for you to follow me into the main hall, and when you see him, you can just call for him. I understand. Hong nodded. He stood up and followed the sector lord out of the resting room. After leaving the resting room, it was the main hall. With a glance, the food and wine within was enough to make a normal undying go bankrupt. And that group of great undyings, they were all the highest echelons of the Ganwu Universe country. Above them was only the Ganwu Universe country leader. It's him. In the distance, Ji Feng Yen, who had been observing the surroundings, glanced at Hong and frowned. Why is that punk here? He can even come here. Who? Yukon was curious. The youth standing over there. Ji Feng Yen said softly, He's Hong. It's him? Yukon looked carefully at Hong. And after Hong entered the main hall, he too looked carefully at the entire hall. There were thousands of people within. The powerful origin law energies caused the entire hall to ripple with origin law ripples. Hong swiftly discovered the silver-robed man and his good brother. Luo Feng. Third brother. Hong shouted, his voice resounding within the main hall, causing a few undyings to look over. Universe-level punk? The group of great undyings were all suspicious. Speaking of which, that Bug Clan Great Tide was indeed terrifying. The endless Bug Sea, just looking at it was enough to make one tremble in fear. That battle, out of the 32 undyings, a total of 28 fell. Silver Snow official stood there, his eyes filled with reminiscence, recounting the intense battle back then to Luo Feng. Luo Feng listened carefully, almost holding his breath. Third brother. A voice resounded. Luo Feng turned to look, smiling. Big brother, wait a moment. Silver Snow official who was narrating was stunned, smiling. Ah, it's your big brother Luo Feng, who is it? Turning to look, he saw the distant silhouette. That silhouette was still speaking. All right, I'll wait for you here. HM? Silver Snow official squinted, staring at that silhouette. It's him? Big brother? Silver Snow official turned to look at Luo Feng. Luo Feng smiled. That's my big brother Hong. Life and death brothers. Life and death brothers? Silver Snow official's heart was in a mess. The moment he saw Hong, he recognized him. Because back when he was investigating Ji Qing's matter, he had looked up some of Hong's information, including his pictures, videos, etc. However, Silver Snow official really didn't know about the relationship between Hong and Luo Feng. Hong and Luo Feng were life and death brothers. It was indeed never made public. Back then when they participated in the genius battle, they registered as universe citizens in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Hence, from an outsider's point of view, they only knew they were from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. As for their personal relationship, if one didn't spend effort to investigate, it would be very hard. That punk, he's actually Luo Feng's big brother, life and death brothers? Silver Snow Official creased his eyebrows, many thoughts flashed through his mind. He was an undying, even though he couldn't be bothered to use any schemes for a long time, with his consciousness calculating speed. He swiftly understood Luo Feng's passion from before Bushka and Luo's appearance. No wonder even Bushka can attend this banquet. No wonder Luo Feng is so passionate. So, everything is because Hong is his big brother. Silver Snow Official looked at Luo Feng before him. Luo Feng smiled at Silver Snow Official. My big brother seems like he can't wait any longer. Silver Snow Official, don't blame me for speaking too much about my big brother and Ji Qing's matter. I want to ask, just what's going on? I wonder if you can tell me? If not, then forget it. Silver Snow Official looked at Luo Feng, squinting as he pondered, saying, Since Hong is your big brother, I'll tell you. Chapter 631. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Looks like Silver Snow Official Ji Tian Song indeed had his reasons for stopping Ji Qing from being with his big brother. Sit. Silver Snow pointed to the side. Luo Feng nodded and sat. Ji Qing. Silver Snow Marquis sat down and poured himself a cup of wine. At the same time, he said, This child is the most outstanding descendant of my Ji family in the past billions of years. This is the first time I saw this child. I only exchanged a few words with her. From her words, I was pleasantly surprised to discover that she is extraordinary. Luo Feng listened quietly. She's a genius, an absolute genius of the Ji Shi family. Silver Snow smiled. She walks the path of a spirit reader hypnotist. Hypnotist? Luo Feng frowned. In the genius battle before, only hypnotist Jiao Lai she stood out. From this one could see how difficult it was for a hypnotist to have any achievements. An extremely talented hypnotist, hence she was absorbed into the core of the Universe Mercenary Alliance. Silver Snow smiled. You should understand, to be able to have such shocking achievements in the hypnotist area, they all have extremely deep understanding of human nature. Luo Feng nodded. To become a strong hypnotist, the requirements were extremely high. One had to have a deep understanding of human nature and looks. A genius like Ji Qing, one that sees through human nature and looks very clearly, she doesn't need me to worry at all. Silver Snow smiled. I'm very at ease with the way she does things. And in the universe, love and affection, it's very normal for the strong to have tens of thousands of wives. A strong man has countless women, and a strong woman has countless men. According to my personality, even if Ji Qing and Hong were to have tens of thousands of men, I wouldn't mind too much. Luo Feng looked suspiciously at Silver Snow. What did those words mean? Since he didn't mind, why did he stop Ji Qing and Hong? The one who stopped them wasn't me. Silver Snow looked seriously at Luo Feng. It was her teacher. Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Her teacher? Luo Feng was shocked. Fantasy Spirit Emperor, it's the great being of the demon and spirit clan. Fantasy Spirit Emperor? Silver Snow nodded seriously. Luo Feng's heart sank. When he followed his teacher Tru Yen and listened to his teachings, he had heard of some extremely powerful people. The Sky Feather King was one, and the Fantasy Spirit King was another. Fantasy Spirit Emperor was a member of the Universe Mercenary Alliance, an extremely terrifying Emperor-level undying. Although she had only passed the 19th level of the Sky-Crossing Bridge, it seemed that her comprehension of the laws of the universe was a level lower than Tru Yen and Sky Feather King's. However, because she was an extremely strange illusionist, hence, among the Emperor-rank undyings, Fantasy Spirit King was one of the most terrifying beings. Once he was attacked by her, he might unknowingly fall into the illusion and die. And the most valiant of them all were her servants. She controlled a total of 81 undyings, of which 79 were official level and 2 emperor level undyings. This control ability was much stronger than the master of the Yunmo planet, Hu Yenbo. Back when he heard these stories, Luo Feng was extremely shocked. It was simply too powerful, just controlling 81 undying servants. 2 more king-ranked martial artists? One had to know that his teacher Tru Yen had taught so many disciples and only managed to teach 1 emperor-level undying. Fantasy Spirit Emperor's position is extremely respected. Luo Feng frowned. Even if Ji Qing is her disciple, she doesn't have to care so much. Don't tell me that after becoming her disciple, one can't even talk about love? That's indeed the case. Silver Snow shook his head and exclaimed. Luo Feng, I don't know if you've gathered information on Fantasy Spirit Emperor's disciples. She has a total of 19 disciples, and of these 19, there are 7 males and 12 females. And these 19 have all lived for extremely long periods of time, some even exceeding trillions of years. However, they all have one thing in common. One thing in common. Luo Feng was even more curious. All 19 of them don't have a spouse. Silver Snow emphasized. Luo Feng was shocked. In the vast universe, even if one gave up on a woman, man, they could still meet a woman, man, in the vast universe. Hence it was strange that none of the 19 disciples had a spouse. Back then when Fantasy Spirit Emperor found out about Ji Qing and Hong, she was immediately enraged and came to ask me. Silver Snow Marquis said solemnly, she asked if Qingqing had done something like lust. Based on my aura, I can sense that Qingqing's life aura is still very pure. She hasn't done anything like lust. After Fantasy Spirit Emperor found out, her anger subsided, and she ordered me to stop the matter between Qing and Hong, otherwise she could only expel Qing and not let her be her disciple. Luo Feng realized. Silver Snow looked at Luo Feng and sighed softly. You should understand why I stopped her. It wasn't me who wanted to stop her, but Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Just having an absolute genius isn't enough. She has to have a good teacher as well. The most exceptional genius that our Ji Shi family has produced in countless years. How can I watch her be expelled by Fantasy Spirit Emperor? Luo Feng nodded. Silver Snow's thoughts were easy to understand. To be able to become a disciple of a great being was extremely hard to come by. For example, in his genius battle, out of the 1,000 participants, less than 10 were accepted by an emperor-level undying, much less becoming a disciple of an emperor-level undying who was considered to be at the pinnacle of undying, that really required luck and luck. Why is it like this? Fantasy Spirit Emperor is only accepting a disciple. Is there a need to interfere with her disciple's relationship? Luo Feng frowned. I'm not sure of the reason either. Silver Snow shook his head. I only know. Fantasy Spirit Emperor doesn't allow her disciples to have relationships, otherwise she'll be expelled. Luo Feng was troubled. What should he do now? Fantasy Spirit Emperor. This was a being very close to Sky Feather Emperor and Tru Yen Emperor. Luo Feng's gaze swept around. The group of undyings in the hall all had high positions in the Ganwu Universe country, however there wasn't a single Emperor-level undying here. And Fantasy Spirit Emperor had 2 Emperor-level undyings as her undying servants. Fantasy Spirit Emperor could completely disregard the group of people here. My position is useless in front of Fantasy Spirit King. Even my teacher, he would at most let her treat him as an equal, he wouldn't be able to make her lower her head. Luo Feng thought. Tru Yen Emperor and Fantasy Spirit Emperor, one was that their strengths were close, and 2 were from different factions. Fantasy Spirit Emperor had no need to submit to Tru Yen Emperor. Silver Snow Official, do you have any ideas? Luo Feng looked at him. I have no ideas. Silver Snow shook his head. Fantasy Spirit Emperor wouldn't even put me in her eyes. Luo Feng frowned. If your teacher True Yen Emperor were to appear, there might be a chance. Silver Snow Official suddenly said. Luo Feng glanced at Silver Snow Official. He didn't want his teacher to appear in such a situation. I've already told you the details, I have no other ideas. However, I have to tell you, Qing being able to become a disciple of Fantasy Spirit Emperor is an extremely rare opportunity. I definitely won't allow her to be expelled. Silver Snow Official looked at Luo Feng. Within the main hall of the banquet, the great beings of the Ganwu Universe country were chatting in groups of 2s and 3s. And in the corner of the hall, Hong, Bushka, Luo and Dylan, these 4 were standing together. I wonder how Third Brother's discussion is going. Hong looked into the distance, where Luo Feng and Silver Snow Official were chatting. Don't rush. The white-haired Luo smiled. His Majesty Luo Feng's position is special, and he has the support of the 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department. Even that Silver Snow Official would have to give him face. He can ignore me, but he wouldn't dare ignore Luo Feng. The tall and skinny man Bushka with a head full of pimples smiled too. Humph. The black-robed bald Dylan snorted lightly. The undyings in the hall, most of them have many undyings under them, however none of them would dare ignore His Majesty. Hong nodded, looking at the distant Luo Feng and Silver Snow Official. After a while Luo Feng and Silver Snow Official finished their conversation and finally turned, walking towards Hong. Third Brother. Hong welcomed him. Big Brother. Luo Feng walked over, his expression complicated. Hong looked at Luo Feng's expression and immediately felt something was amiss. What's going on? Hong said softly. Big Brother. Luo Feng found it hard to speak to. It's like this, the one truly stopping you and Ji Qing isn't Silver Snow Official, it's Fantasy Spirit Emperor. And this Fantasy Spirit Emperor, Luo Feng explained in detail, describing how terrifying she was. Bushka, Luo, and Dylan were also listening by the side. It's like this. Luo Feng looked at Hong. There's actually Fantasy Spirit Emperor behind him. Bushka's expression changed. This Fantasy Spirit Emperor is extremely difficult to deal with. Dylan frowned. Even if my teacher appears, it'll be useless, unless the ancestor appears. He might be of some use. The white-haired Luo frowned, looking at Hong, saying solemnly, Disciple, since it's Fantasy Spirit Emperor's obstruction, and her disciples are all single, it's destined that she won't easily change her rules. From what I see, you should give up. Hong stood there quietly. Give up, why bother with a woman? Bushka advised. Even if you see through it, it's nothing. Some can be given up, but others have to be persevered. Hong revealed a smile, looking at Hong and Bushka. Teacher, Senior Bushka, I definitely won't give up so easily. Third Brother. Hong looked at Luo Feng. If there's anything you need me to do, just say it. Luo Feng looked at his big brother. I've indeed troubled you this time, otherwise I wouldn't even know the reason. Hong shook his head and smiled. I'm afraid in their eyes, they won't even bother to explain to me. I have one thing I need your help with, and this is also the last thing. You and I came from Earth together, that means we're life and death brothers, there's no need to say anything else. Luo Feng looked at Hong. I want to. Hong looked at Luo Feng. Meet Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Luo Feng, Dylan, Bushka and Luo were all shocked. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 632. Meet the Fantasy Spirit King? Luo Feng, Dylan, Bushka and Luo were all extremely knowledgeable. They too knew of the pinnacle of the human 1008 universe countries. For example, if a universe-level punk wanted to meet True Yen, would he be able to? It was purely a dream. It was the same logic. Could he see Fantasy Spirit King just because he wanted to? Big Brother, this. Luo Feng slightly frowned. He wanted to see Fantasy Spirit King, but he had no relationship with her at all and had never seen her before. There's no way. Hong looked at Luo Feng. If there's really no way, then, don't worry. Luo Feng shook his head. Big brother, I can only say I'll try. Hong nodded slightly. The banquet continued. Luo Feng carried his glass and walked to Silver Snow official's side. Luo Feng. Silver Snow sat there, slightly raising his cup. Beside, the undying Yukon and Sector Lord Ji Feng Yen stood up and made way. Luo Feng sat opposite Silver Snow official and smiled. Silver Snow official, I have something to trouble you with. What is it? Just say it. Silver Snow official Ji Tian Song looked at Luo Feng. He felt disdain towards Hong, however he still held Luo Feng in high regard, an absolute genius that was able to shine so brightly in the virtual universe company, with true Yen Emperor supporting him. As long as he didn't fall, his future would definitely be terrifying. Luo Feng smiled. Silver Snow official, please help me send a mail. Mail? Marquis Silver Snow's pupils shrank as he asked in confusion. It's for Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Luo Feng nodded. The Silver Snow Marquis was shocked. I'll write the contents of the email. Of course, I'll show it to you, Silver Snow. Luo Feng smiled. No matter what, this mail is for Silver Snow official to send. Naturally, I can't make things difficult for you. Haha, I don't have to worry about this. I believe Luo Feng won't anger her. Silver Snow smiled and nodded. Yes, this is the content. Luo Feng extended his wrist, and a mail appeared on the screen on his wrist. The contents of the mail were already opened. Silver Snow looked at the screen and read. He wants to see Fantasy Spirit King? He really dared to think. He was just a universe-level punk without any special background or status. What kind of status does Fantasy Spirit King have? Why would she meet him? Silver Snow official was shocked, looking curiously at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, is there a need for you to stand up for him? Like blood brothers, of course I have to help, said Luo Feng. Yes. Marquis Silver Snow nodded. I will help you send this mail to Fantasy Spirit King. As for whether she is willing to meet you and Hong, that will depend on luck. Silver Snow smiled. Let me give you a suggestion. If your teacher True Yen is willing to appear, no matter what, at least meet. Fantasy Spirit King will definitely meet with you. Luo Feng smiled and shook his head. Unless there was really no other way, it was best not to ask his teacher for help. His teacher had already done him a great favor by teaching him. If he were to let his teacher worry about this and that, did he think that his teacher was a nanny? This was very disrespectful behavior. It's been sent. Silver Snow official looked at Luo Feng. The moment Fantasy Spirit Emperor is willing to meet you, I'll inform you. Thank you. Luo Feng smiled. I'll tell you my virtual universe network number, you can contact me. The main character of this banquet was Luo Feng. During the process of the banquet, Luo Feng raised his wine glass and chatted with the great Undyings. These Undyings didn't dare underestimate this punk before them. After all, this punk's current authority alone was enough to affect them. The banquet ended. However, Silver Snow official still hadn't received Fantasy Spirit Emperor's reply. Jade Dome Planet, Luo Clan Villa. The true upper echelon of the Ganwu Universe country had all boarded universe ships and left. Even the three tycoons Purple Lightning official, Gold Feather official and Black Yen official had left. Night. The guests had already left. Luo Feng walked alone in this silent and vast palace corridor. Big brother. Luo Feng glanced at the distant black-clothed Hong who was sitting quietly on the grass. Luo Feng was like a gust of wind as he leapt over the railings and walked a few steps to Hong's side. Hong turned and looked at him. Sit. Still worried? Luo Feng sat and smiled. I'm not worried, I'm just waiting. Hong turned and smiled at Luo Feng, waiting for that chance to come. No matter what, at least tonight I know why that Silver Snow official obstructed me and Ji Qing. Once I understand the reason, I can think of a way to resolve the obstruction. You're very confident. Luo Feng smiled. I don't have any confidence at all. Only there are some things I have to do. Hong smiled. Once I work hard, I won't regret it. Even if I can't do it now, when I become stronger in the future, even stronger than Fantasy Spirit Emperor, naturally I'll be able to bring Qing Qing back. Luo Feng looked shocked at his big brother. Stronger than Fantasy Spirit Emperor? Was his big brother bragging, or was he very confident? Fantasy Spirit Emperor, that was definitely an absolute being that roamed the universe. With a flip of her hand she could probably kill trillions of people, causing a group of undyings to fall into illusions and die. My heart is limitless, my future is limitless. Hong looked at Luo Feng. Third brother, don't be afraid. If even your heart feels that surpassing is a difficult thing, how will you be able to do it in reality? Luo Feng was stunned. My heart is limitless? His future was limitless? No matter how powerful an absolute being is, it's all accumulated step by step. Hong smiled. As long as you keep improving, always improving. And your lifespan is limitless, then, even becoming the strongest being in the universe isn't impossible. Luo Feng nodded. Suddenly he was stunned. His consciousness connected to the virtual universe network and immediately returned. Big brother. Luo Feng smiled. Hong looked at Luo Feng and smiled. From your expression, it seems like something good has happened. I just received a letter from Silver Snow Official. Luo Feng smiled. Silver Snow Official's letter? Hong's eyes gleamed. He forwarded the contents of Fantasy Spirit Emperor's letter. Luo Feng smiled. Agreed? Hong's eyes gleamed with a gaze. Luo Feng smiled and nodded, right? Fantasy Spirit Emperor will send her underlings to the Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay and bring us to her palace to meet her. Luo Feng said, hence from now on, we'll always leave a thread of consciousness within the virtual universe network and wait for her to meet us. Hong nodded. Virtual universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay Little District. Luo Feng and Hong looked at the man before them. This was a 3 m tall man with a pair of black feathered wings, and on his forehead were 10 horns of different lengths. This black feathered man smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. True Yen Emperor's disciple Luo Feng? How do you do? I'm Fantasy Spirit Emperor's disciple Bushla. How do you do, Bushla? Luo Feng nodded. This is the punk that wants to marry junior sister? The black feathered man glanced at Hong, his lips curling up, almost disdainful. Hong was about to reply when the man turned to Luo Feng. Let's go, my teacher is waiting for you. All right. Luo Feng nodded, immediately bringing Hong and following the black feathered man, swiftly leaving the 9-Star Bay district. At a teleportation point not far from there, they immediately left. Shua. Luo Feng, Hong and the black-feathered man Bushla, these three appeared out of nowhere in a vast plaza of a palace. Rumble, the waves crashed against the shore. The entire palace was about 100,000 kilometers tall, split into 9 levels. The lowest level was close to the sea, and the plaza Luo Feng and the others were in was the 5th level plaza. Follow me. The black-feathered man led the way. Entering the deep palace, they proceeded forward. Even Hong was at the universe level, hence the three of them advanced very quickly, reaching the 7th level after a while. This was a secluded hall. At the entrance of the hall stood a group of women dressed in white muslin clothes that were as soft as clouds and mist. Their furry tails swayed slightly behind them. These women all had soul-stirring purple eyes, and when they looked over one could feel the desire contained in their eyes. Under the black-feathered man's lead, Luo Feng and Hong walked into the palace. As they advanced, the women standing next to him had changed from the women in white to women in black. However, it was clear that these women were all from the same race. They all had purple eyes and furry tails. After walking another 1,000 kilometers, the women beside them changed to purple-robed women. What a wondrous illusion! Luo Feng walked in the huge God-Spirit Palace, looking at the women standing beside him. He unknowingly fell into an illusion, almost as though these women were all naked, using all sorts of alluring techniques to get closer. Unfortunately, Luo Feng and Hong were people with high mental states. If they didn't purposely use such an illusion, it wouldn't affect them at all. Teacher! The black-feathered man bowed respectfully, his voice resounding within the vast palace, resounding constantly. Luo Feng and Hong stopped simultaneously. Looking up, they could see clearly in the distance, on the huge throne carved with all sorts of complicated and lewd statues, there was a woman with long purple hair, purple pupils and a purple furry tail curled up. When her eyes looked down, the entire land seemed to be filled with a lewd energy. Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Luo Feng held his breath. After hearing of her name, Luo Feng didn't dare be careless. Luo Feng. A gentle voice resounded from the distant huge throne, indeed a universe-level genius that was able to make it to the 10th island of Fantasy Ocean. Your mental state is very firm. I like this kind of determined punk. Your teacher True Yen Emperor indeed has good foresight. He raised a bloodthirsty emperor before, and looking at your data, you're also a killing maniac. True Yan's disciples are all like that. The teacher is a maniac in killing. The disciples are all maniac in killing too. Thank you Fantasy Spirit Emperor for your praise. Luo Feng bowed. His teacher True Yen Emperor indeed had a period where he was crazy and heavenly. It was just that he was much more low profile now, training in Primal Chaos City. Otherwise, in terms of violence, his teacher wouldn't lose to the bloodthirsty Emperor's third senior. On the huge throne, the demon and spirit clan's great being laid lazily, her purple pupils looked at Hong. You are the Hong Ching spoke of? Yes. Hong bowed and replied. P.S. Second chapter has ended, continue writing the third. Chapter 633. You indeed have guts, daring to come see me. In the huge throne, Fantasy Spirit Emperor looked down at Hong, laughing softly. Aren't you afraid I'll order someone to kill you in reality? With Fantasy Spirit Emperor's power, with an order, there would definitely be many undyings from the Ganwu universe country fighting to kill Hong. I'm afraid, Hong said respectfully. Haha, so you can be afraid too. Fantasy Spirit's voice was like the best instrument in the world, the best musician playing music, causing one's heart to tremble. Since you're afraid, why did you come? I'm afraid of death, afraid of my dreams not being realized. Hong said respectfully, however some things can't be retreated just because I'm afraid. Ching treated me so sincerely, how can I be afraid of death? No matter what, I'll do my best to think of a way, even if I die, I won't regret it. Fantasy Spirit King, who was sitting on the throne, looked at Hong and gasped. Afraid of death, but there are some things you won't regret even if you die? Fantasy Spirit King looked at the figure below, and her eyes became hazy as she muttered, dying and having your soul destroyed is scary, but you still do it without regrets. Her voice reverberated within 10 meters around her, and no one else in the hall could hear it. If only he could do the same back then. Fantasy Spirit's expression changed, her eyes occasionally gentle, occasionally terrifying. Rumble, the entire hall trembled faintly, and countless strange noises reverberated in everyone's ears. This caused Luo Feng, Hong and the other women's expressions to change. Fantasy Spirit regained her calm, the sounds vanished. She looked down at Hong from the throne. Hong, I'll give you a chance to gamble your life. Luo Feng's expression changed. Gamble his life? Fantasy Spirit Emperor, please explain. Hong bowed. Very simple. Fantasy Spirit smiled. I'll give you 2 choices. 1, when you reach the pinnacle of Sector Lord, go participate in the universe wars in the outer region. If you can accumulate enough battle merits to get a first-grade medal, I won't obstruct you and Ching. At the same time, I promise I won't expel her from my sect. The second choice is for you to pass the 18 levels of love illusions I set up. If you successfully pass the 18 love illusions, I won't stop you and Ching, and I promise I won't expel Ching. But, As long as you fail, then, I'll definitely order the Universe Mercenary Alliance to send experts to kill you. Fantasy Spirit Emperor stared at Hong below. This is a gamble with your life. If you fail, you will die. If you succeed, you will have a chance to be with Qingqing. Whether you two are in love, break up, or get married, I won't care. If you choose the first option, you will have the time to cultivate from now until the peak of the Sector Lord. I can guarantee that you will be able to cultivate until the peak of the Sector Lord. The second option is to immediately attempt the 18 love illusions. Fantasy Spirit King looked down at Fong Hong. Do you dare to bet your life? The atmosphere seemed to freeze. The entire hall was silent. Even her disciple, the black-winged man, did not dare to make a sound. He and the muslin-clothed women all felt that Fantasy Spirit King was not the same as usual. Big brother. Luo Feng looked at Hong. Gambling with your life? Was this a joke? If Hong really accepted the bet and was chased by the Universe Mercenary Alliance, then even True Yen Emperor wouldn't have the right to stop him. I choose the second option. Hong looked up at Fantasy Spirit Emperor high above in her throne. Attempting the 18 love illusions, if I fail, there's no need for you to send people to kill me. I'll head straight to one of the Universe Mercenary Alliance bases. In front of the base members, I'll kill myself and broadcast it to you in the Virtual Universe Network. In her throne, Fantasy Spirit Emperor squinted. Are you sure you're going to attempt the 18 love illusions? Fantasy Spirit said. If you choose the Sector Lord Pinnacle to participate in the Universe Wars, you can live for a long time. And I can even help you reach the pinnacle. I'll ask you one last time, do you want to change your choice? No. Hong's face revealed a smile. Luo Feng looked at Hong beside him. Looking at the smile on his face, that was a smile that had given his all, without any worries. Big brother. Luo Feng was panicking. Yes. His big brother's mental state training was indeed extremely high. He could be said to be one of the few saints of Earth since ancient times. However, these illusions weren't from the fantasy ocean, but from the incomparably powerful Emperor level undying close to his teacher True Yen. Fantasy Spirit Emperors. Who knows, the pressure it contained might even make Hong collapse. Who? Fantasy Spirit King stood up and looked down at Hong. Looking into his eyes, there was no trace of hesitation in his eyes, nor was there the craziness of grinding his teeth. There was only a hint of sharpness in his eyes. Very good. Fantasy Spirit Emperor ordered, Bushla, bring Hong to the Fantasy Palace, directly to the 101st level. Shua. Fantasy Spirit Emperor immediately vanished. Yes, teacher. The black-feathered man Bushla bowed respectfully, after which he looked pitifully at Hong. Follow me. Fantasy Spirit Palace was in an uproar. A universe-level punk actually wanted to attempt the 18 love illusions. The moment he failed, his soul would be destroyed. Immediately, many people in the illusionary Spirit Palace quickly ran towards the Illusory Realm Palace. Your Majesty Qing, that Hong has chosen to gamble his life and attempt the 18 love illusions. If he succeeds, Fantasy Spirit Emperor won't stop you from being with that man, and won't chase you out either. However, the moment he fails, he'll be killed in reality. A quiet pavilion stood two young ladies, one of them a green-robed lady said softly. Within the pavilion, a short-haired lady stood at the door, her slender fingers were already gripping so hard they were pale. I want to go out, the short-haired lady said softly. Your Majesty Qing, Fantasy Spirit Emperor's orders, who would dare go against it? We can report everything that happens outside to you, but please don't make things difficult for us, the green-robed lady said. The short-haired lady's eyes gleamed fiercely. Creak. She closed the door. This pavilion was a point where she entered the Virtual Universe Network. As long as she entered the Virtual Universe, she would appear in this pavilion. And now, within the Virtual Universe, she was restricted from leaving. In reality, She too was trapped within the god country of her ancestor Silver Snow official. Big Brother Hong. The short-haired woman walked to a window and opened it. She didn't flee. The two evil spirits at the door were Sector Lord level and were specially here to watch her. She was only a universe level. As long as the two didn't go easy on her, how could she flee? Don't do stupid things. 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 Moments later. Don't worry, wait for me. This was Hong's reply. She fell silent. Big Brother Hong, you. The short-haired girl raised her head and looked through the window at the distant palace that towered into the clouds. That was the Illusory Realm Palace within the group of palaces in the Illusory Spirit Palace. Alive! You must survive. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Many people gathered in the palace, such as demons and spirits, and some disciples under Fantasy Spirit King. I dare say that little guy will definitely die. How can he succeed? The 18 levels of love illusions, no matter how strong that universe-level punk is, he won't be able to succeed. This is a dead end. Look, that's the punk that attempted the 18 levels of love illusions. Who? The silver-armored one? No, the silver-armored one is said to be the absolute genius Luo Feng from the Virtual Universe Company's primal region. The black-armored one is... Wah, that's Luo Feng? So handsome. Don't be smitten. I feel that Hong is quite handsome too. It's a pity that he has to die. Luo Feng and Hong followed the black-feathered man Bushla as they walked along the walkway. Looking around, looking into the distance, there were large amounts of purple-eyed ladies. The entire Illusory Spirit Palace was made up of about 99% females, and the female servants were all from the Evil Spirits clan, all of them extremely beautiful and alluring. Big Brother, your mental state training is high. However, this illusion, it's Fantasy Spirit Emperors. Luo Feng communicated anxiously. You are strong, but you can't underestimate the absolute beings of the universe. The moment you fail, you'll die without a doubt, and that illusion might even contain consciousness pressure. Who knows, just one pressure and you'll die. Who knows how powerful Fantasy Spirit Emperor's 18 levels of love illusions are? If it's extremely powerful, wouldn't you have nowhere to cry? An absolute being that knew the severity of the situation would probably set up an illusion according to Hong's strength. However, Fantasy Spirit Emperor's temper was famous for being eccentric. She obviously didn't allow any man to touch her, yet she was always so alluring. Her temper was violent and savage, yet she always acted gentle. Who knew if Fantasy Spirit Emperor's 18 levels of love illusions weren't a path to death? If she really wanted Hong to die, would Hong still be able to live? Hong glanced at Luo Feng. No problem. Swoosh. A silhouette appeared at the entrance of the 101st level of the palace. It was a lady completely covered in a misty rainbow robe. One could only see her purple eyes, but her face couldn't be seen clearly. Immediately the surroundings went silent. The spectating ladies and disciples were all too respectful to make a sound. Right now you still have a chance to retreat. Fantasy Spirit Emperor looked at the distant Hong. If you choose to retreat, even though I'll look down on you, at least, you'll keep your life. If you don't retreat, then follow this door and enter. Fantasy Spirit Emperor pointed at the door before her. This is the 101st level of the palace. Every level is a level of illusion. Once you pass it, follow the stairs and head up. Enter the 102nd level, and after you succeed, follow the stairs to the 103rd level, keep going down. If you successfully exit the 118th level, you'll have succeeded. Otherwise, your life will be gone. Fantasy Spirit Emperor looked at Hong. Hong smiled. Big Brother. Luo Feng's expression was anxious. However, he didn't know how to persuade his big brother. This Hong, even if trillions of people tried to persuade him, they wouldn't be able to shake his willpower. Hong smiled and glanced at Luo Feng, after which he walked towards the distant door. So, he had already arrived at the entrance of the hall, and with a single step, he stepped into the hall. Rumble! The entire 101st level immediately became a blur. The naked eye couldn't even see what was happening within. At this time, Hong had no way to turn back. Success, life. Failure, death. 3 chapters completed. Today is the last day of the month. Once the monthly pass expires, it becomes invalid. Everybody please support Tomato. Tomato has officially started the 3-chapter update day. Monthly passes, recommendation votes, all of them. Chapter 634. The majestic palace before him pierced through the clouds. If it was on Earth, Luo Feng would be able to see half of Earth from space. However, he was unable to see this majestic shrine. Fantasy Palace. Misty energy revolved around the palace. The 101st level was dark and blurry. Luo Feng stared with all his might, trying to see Hong's situation within the palace. However, it was a waste of effort. It wasn't just Luo Feng looking. Even the large amounts of Devil and Spirit Clan women and Fantasy Spirit Emperor's disciples were looking at the palace. All of them wanted to know if Hong could pass the 18 levels of love illusions. Rumble! The hall on the 101st floor shook, and the inside of the hall became clear. Hong, who was standing in the center of the palace, looked up and smiled at the distant staircase. He immediately flew up and swiftly followed it towards the 102nd level. I've passed the first level. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Hua! The human flow followed the staircase and swiftly rushed up to the 102nd level. Fantasy Spirit Emperor was right at the front. Luo Feng, the black-feathered man and the other disciples followed closely behind. The large amounts of Devil and Spirit Clan women followed at the back. The 2nd and 3rd levels of love illusions. The amount of time Hong took to break through them was getting longer and longer. What do I do? Luo Feng watched as Hong followed the staircase and went up to the next level to attempt the 4th level. He couldn't help but be anxious. This is after all an illusion set up by Fantasy Spirit Emperor. And Big Brother is only universe level. If he's not careful, he'll fall. If he really fails, do I really have to watch him go to one of the Universe Mercenary Alliance bases and commit suicide? However, I can't persuade him, and this is a bet between him and Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Even my teacher can't interfere. Luo Feng was very anxious. He couldn't help and could only watch as everything happened. Strength. This was all about strength. If he had the strength of a universe country leader, he could completely suppress Fantasy Spirit Emperor. There wouldn't be a need to go through so much trouble. He was a little genius. Before Fantasy Spirit Emperor, he was just a junior that hadn't truly grown up. Your big brother's willpower is very strong. He actually passed the 5th level of love illusions. Outside the 105th level, the rainbow-dressed Fantasy Spirit Emperor laughed softly. Senior Fantasy Spirit Emperor, please show mercy. Luo Feng bowed respectfully and pleaded. You don't have to beg me. Fantasy Spirit Emperor's soul-stirring purple eyes glanced at Luo Feng. I'm only letting him attempt the 18 levels of love illusions. It's just a test of love and lust. As long as he doesn't get confused by it and sees the true nature of love and lust, then he'll have hope of surviving. Love. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Human. Fantasy Spirit King laughed lightly, or should I say, life. As long as it's alive, there will definitely be desires. You want to live long and become an eternal existence? You want to control the lives of tens of thousands of people? Want a beautiful wife? You want your loved ones to live a good life? Want to stand out? To become a true expert? Fantasy Spirit King laughed. All of these are all desires. Desire. It is the source of the progress of life. Fantasy Spirit King smiled. No matter how pure a person is, they will still have desires. It's just that their desires are different from others and more unique. Luo Feng was stunned. Desire? That's right. Whether it was the path of the strong, the path of training, the pursuit of pleasure, the pursuit of food, in short, as long as one was alive, they would definitely have desires. Even wild beasts and ferocious beasts all had instinctive desires. Like mating, having more female companions, eating more and better, desire is limitless. Fantasy Spirit Emperor said softly, "There's no such thing as good or bad. And life itself, there's only the difference between being controlled by desire and controlling desire. Love and lust is a type of desire, and it's also a very, very complicated one. Even some extremely powerful undyings might not be able to see through love and lust." Fantasy Spirit Emperor laughed softly. "I've set up these 18 levels of love illusions. It's filled with the different tastes of love and lust. Even gods would fall within. And him. Since he's deeply in love, then love and lust to him should be an extremely difficult level." Fantasy Spirit Emperor smiled. "Only by passing the 18 levels of love illusions would he have the right to be with my disciple." Luo Feng took a deep cold breath, looking shocked at the devastatingly beautiful Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Desire? As someone who was often taught by his big brother and second brother, Luo Feng, who had a deep understanding of mental state training, he was very clear on how difficult it was to understand desire. There was an old saying on earth that even heroes have a weakness for beauties. Even some of the saints from the past had their own dreams and pursuit. Like ruling the country, etc., these dreams and pursuits were essentially a type of desire. Wanting to transcend desire? Impossible. No wonder Fantasy Spirit Emperor only passed the 19th level of the Heavenly Bridge, yet still had such terrifying power, almost comparable to Sky Feather Emperor and my teacher True Yen Emperor. Luo Feng thought, no wonder she could directly control 2 Emperor-level undyings. Fantasy Spirit Emperor, she's indeed terrifying. Big brother, these 18 levels are all about love and lust, can you pass them? Luo Feng looked at the blurry palace before him, feeling anxious within. Even though he had confidence in his big brother, Luo Feng didn't dare underestimate the great eternal beings of the universe. Even though Earth's mental state training had some pride in being unrivaled in the universe, those beings that were able to dominate the universe and survive for countless years. And one of them was a huge universe country, a great being that presided over it. These truly great beings, who would dare say their mental states were weaker than Luo Feng, Thunder God and Hong? One couldn't underestimate these eternal beings. 30. How's your discussion with Big Brother going? A mail appeared on Luo Feng's arm screen. It was from his second brother Thunder God. Regarding Luo Feng and Hong going to meet Fantasy Spirit Emperor, Thunder God was naturally informed. Second brother. Luo Feng's consciousness flashed with a few words. The screen automatically floated with the words, forming a mail and swiftly sending it to his second brother. 18 levels of love illusions? Big Brother's mental state training is extremely high. He'll definitely be able to pass them, I believe this. Thunder God replied. Second brother, these are the 18 levels of love illusions personally set by Fantasy Spirit Emperor. As a very terrifying being of the universe, she's lived for who knows how many times longer than Earth's Chinese culture. You definitely can't underestimate her. Luo Feng replied. Big brother, how many levels have you passed? The 9th level. Right now he's taking longer and longer to break them. Luo Feng swiftly communicated with his second brother Thunder God, simultaneously anxiously watching his big brother pass the 18 levels of love illusions. As time passed, Fantasy Spirit King and her disciples, as well as the large number of female members of the evil spirit race, all felt the pressure. They all followed Fantasy Spirit King up layer by layer, watching the process of Hong passing the 18 levels of love illusions. Of the 18 levels of love illusions, the first was the fastest. The further it went, the slower it got. The 10th level, the 11th level, the 12th level Hong found it harder and harder to break the illusions. However, every time he passed, he was still that resolute. This big brother, you have to succeed, you have to succeed. Luo Feng, who had been watching from every level's entrance, prayed within. He actually made it to the 14th level of love illusions. This Luo Feng's big brother is quite powerful. To be able to make it to the 14th level, it means his willpower is very, very strong. Unbelievable. I couldn't tell. The women of the Devil and Spirit clan exchanged messages and muttered. And Fantasy Spirit Emperor was very calm at the start, till Hong Qinggong frowned after passing the 14th level. I don't believe that a man who is obsessed with love can pass through the 18 levels of love illusions. Fantasy Spirit King's eyes were like lightning, and her face had a layer of killing intent as she stared at the 105th level. In that secluded pavilion, the short-haired lady was silently standing in front of the window and looking in the direction of the Fantasy Palace. Within her field of vision, the Fantasy Palace pierced through the clouds and was covered in mist. It was impossible to see its height with the naked eye. Your Majesty Qing, that Hong has already passed the 15th level of love illusions. He's succeeded, he's really passed the 15th level. The two Devil and Spirit clan ladies at the entrance shouted. The short-haired lady looked up, her eyes filled with anxiety and worry, saying, "Big brother Hong, you have to make it, you have to." "I have to make it." Luo Feng stood at the entrance of the 117th level, staring hard at the palace. Outside the entire 117th level, the large number of Devil and Spirit clan ladies all held their breath. Even Fantasy Spirit Emperor's expression had completely sunk, her eyes not blinking as she stared hard at the palace. Everyone felt the pressure increase because the further they went, the more exaggerated the difficulty of the love fantasy became. After a long while, rumble! The hazy scene in the 117th floor shattered, revealing the pale-faced, black-haired man, Hong. "There's still the last level." Hong looked up. He didn't even glance at the people outside, immediately following the staircase and heading towards the last level, the 118th level, to attempt the 18th level of love illusions. The human flow was like a river reaching the 118th level. "I'll definitely succeed, I'll definitely succeed." Luo Feng stared unblinkingly at the 118th level, his forehead beaded with sweat. Fantasy Spirit King, who was in front of him, stared at the hall. She didn't believe it. She didn't believe that the 18 levels of love illusions she had set up for a man deep in love would be broken through. A man deep in love would obviously be affected by love. However, breaking through the 18 levels? Impossible. Fantasy Spirit Emperor's eyes gleamed coldly. Rumble. The 118th level shook violently, after which it calmed down. A black-haired, black-clothed man with a smile on his face walked out, stepping through the doorway and walking out of the palace. "Senior Fantasy Spirit Emperor, I've already successfully passed the 18 levels of love illusions," the black-haired, black-clothed man said respectfully. "P.S. The first chapter has arrived. Brothers, you're too awesome." Tomato pulled the votes. Everyone actually spent so much surprise, it's too unexpected. Thank you all, thank you very much. Chapter 635. The corridor outside the 118th level of the palace was at least 1 kilometer wide. There were tens of thousands of people gathered, all looking in disbelief at the black-haired, black-clothed man. They had been serving Fantasy Spirit for a long time, following beside her. They were extremely clear on how terrifying she was. Almost no one believed that Hong could pass the 18 levels of love illusions. Fantasy Spirit herself couldn't believe it either. Impossible. Fantasy Spirit stared at the man before her. Many thoughts flashed through her mind, however she quickly calmed down. I didn't expect someone who would die for love to actually pass the 18 levels of love illusions. Fantasy's spirit looked at Hong, her purple eyes gleaming with a peculiar light. You surprise me. Love, there's nothing to be afraid of. Immerse yourself in it, enjoy it. Hong said, your soul will give birth to a wondrous feeling, that's love. Fantasy's spirit looked at Hong, examining him. Now I understand a little why Ching Ching fell in love with you at first sight. Fantasy's spirit nodded, after which she turned to look at the black-feathered man. Bushla, bring Luo Feng and Hong to see Ching Ching. Yes, teacher. The black-feathered man replied respectfully. Fantasy Spirit King's body disappeared with a swoosh. After she left, the corridor immediately began to bustle with noise and commotion. The surrounding tens of thousands of enchanting demon and spirit clan ladies were all pointing at Hong and Luo Feng, discussing, almost as though they were very concerned about the two of them. Please follow me. The black-feathered man smiled at Hong and Luo Feng. Congratulations on passing the 18 levels of love illusions too. The rest of us here probably don't believe you can pass it. The black-feathered man smiled. I too had a hard time passing it. These 18 levels of love illusions are indeed terrifying. Hong said. Of course, how could my teacher's illusions be weak? The black-feathered man led the way ahead. Luo Feng and Hong stood shoulder to shoulder. Big brother, congratulations. Luo Feng communicated, his face revealing a sly smile. Congratulations on being together with your wife forever. Hong was all smiles. Big brother, how are the 18 levels of love illusions? I was worried to death just now. Luo Feng communicated. The illusion is very powerful, but it doesn't pose a threat to me. Hong transmitted. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with shock. What? There's no threat. However, I see you getting more and more tired with each level, slower and slower, almost as though it's taking a lot of effort. This. In disguise. Hong glanced at Luo Feng and communicated. Fantasy Spirit Emperor is watching from outside, and this 18 levels of love illusions was set up by her. If I were to easily pass level after level, where would she put her face? She's the great Fantasy Spirit Emperor, yet her 18 illusions were swiftly broken by a universe-level punk. It's simply too embarrassing. If I break through it quickly and easily, out of embarrassment and anger, she might immediately change the love illusion after I break through the 18 love illusions. Hong transmitted. If she really wanted me to fail, it would be very easy. For example, she could directly use a soul attack to cause me to die in the illusion and fail. Who here can tell that she secretly made a move? Even if it's you, seeing me die in the illusion, you'd think I didn't pass it, right? Hong looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was stunned. Right. Hence, I had to act according to Fantasy Spirit Emperor's mentality, making her feel as though I was about to fail, and with such incomparable difficulty, finally breaking through the formation. That way, my goal would have been achieved. Hong smiled at Luo Feng. Luo Feng nodded. Indeed. His big brother had been acting from start to finish, and this performance had indeed made him extremely nervous, almost as though he couldn't hold on any longer. Each level was harder and more time-consuming than the last. So it was all an act. Strength is very important, however. Sometimes it has to be combined with other factors to get the best result. Hong communicated. However, big brother, this love illusion, that Fantasy Spirit Emperor said it was all love and desire, how did you get through it so easily? Luo Feng asked curiously. His big brother was obviously a person deeply in love, for Jiqing. He came without even knowing the details of the 18 levels of love illusions. Such a person could easily break through the illusion of love? Love, it was after all a very complicated desire. Many heroes and warriors had fallen deeply in love. Our China has this saying, look at a mountain as a mountain, look at water as water. The mountain isn't a mountain, look at water as water. The mountain is still a mountain, look at water as water. Hong communicated. A person who has never experienced love would naturally think that love is love. However, only those who have truly experienced love would find it incomparably complicated, like looking at a flower through a fog. Everything is like a dream, unable to see clearly. Love is infinitely complicated in their eyes, because the various emotions and experiences make them realize how complicated love is. At this time, the mountain isn't a mountain, the water isn't water. Only by experiencing the world of mortals, studying the human heart, seeing clearly the many emotions and grudges within, can one finally see the true face of love. I've already reached the stage of returning to my true self. My understanding of love is incomparably clear, seeing through the essence, what I want, what I can die for. I can no longer be tempted, all of this, I've already comprehended it. Hong looked at Luo Feng, smiling as he communicated. At this time, looking at a mountain, it's still a mountain. Looking at water, it's still water. Love the in front of a person at this level, it's already very clear. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. He understood within. Not all those who are deeply immersed in love will be unable to extricate themselves. Hong smiled. You're not a fish, how would you know the joy of a fish? Only those who have truly seen through love will know that immersing themselves in love is the path. And forbidding love, that's going against one's heart. Hong said. Everything I do, I follow my heart. Some things I should do, some things I shouldn't do. Some things I know are life-threatening, I still have to do. Luo Feng nodded. He chatted with his big brother while following the black-feathered man Bushla, heading towards Ji Qing's residence. Shua, dressed in a rainbow robe, Fantasy Spirit Emperor appeared before the quiet pavilion. Lord. The two devils and spirits clan ladies before the pavilion, upon seeing Fantasy Spirit Emperor, were shocked and bowed respectfully. Hm. Fantasy Spirit Emperor immediately pushed open the door and entered the pavilion. Within the pavilion, the short-haired lady who was originally standing by the window and looking outside turned to look at the entrance. Seeing Fantasy Spirit Emperor, she bowed respectfully. Teacher, you should have received news that the junior called Hong has passed the 18 levels of love illusions I set up. Fantasy Spirit Emperor looked at her disciple Ji Qing. Ji Qing was an extremely exceptional disciple. He was the most exceptional out of all the disciples under her. Fantasy Spirit Emperor liked this disciple from the bottom of her heart. Yes, Qing understands. Thank you, teacher, for showing mercy. Ji Qing bowed respectfully and gratefully. Fantasy Spirit Emperor snorted coldly, after which she sat on a chair beside and looked at Ji Qing. Qing, I didn't show mercy to him. It's just that the one you like called Hong has indeed exceeded my expectations. He was actually able to pass the 18 levels of love illusions. The short-haired lady couldn't help but blush when she heard this, as well as a sense of pride. I've said it before. The moment he passes the 18 levels of love illusions, I won't stop you too, and I won't expel you from my sect. Whether the two of you love each other and have children, or break up, or anything else, I won't care. Fantasy Spirit Emperor looked at the short-haired lady. Qing, thanks, teacher. The short-haired lady's eyes gleamed. However, there are some things I have to tell you before this. Fantasy Spirit Emperor pointed in mid-air and a screen appeared. On it was a book. This is after a round of conversation. After a while, footsteps and soft chatter could be heard from outside the pavilion. In the distant corridor outside, the black-feathered man, Hong and Luo Feng walked at the front. Behind them followed a large number of young ladies. They were all from the Demon and Spirit clan, obviously here to watch the show. Luo Feng, Hong, this is Ji Qing's residence. The black-feathered man Bushla pointed ahead at the quiet and beautiful pavilion. Ah! Hong's eyes gleamed. His gaze landed on the pavilion and he walked over. Luo Feng and the black-feathered man followed behind him. Creak! The pavilion's door opened and a short-haired lady walked out. Luo Feng looked at this lady. Even though he had seen Ji Qing's picture in the virtual universe network, when he saw her in person, Luo Feng felt something different about this Ji Qing. She was taller and her body proportions were perfect. Her short hair made her look valiant and heroic. The expression on her eyebrows made her seem like a very decisive, determined and independent lady. Simply put, she gave off the feeling of a strong woman. However, her eyes seemed to be filled with spring water. Looking at Hong, she seemed like she was about to cry. "You really are silly." The short-haired lady looked at Hong and said softly. Hong only smiled. The short-haired lady immediately rushed up and hugged Hong tightly. She couldn't control her tears and they flowed uncontrollably. In the distance, the demon and spirit clan ladies all revealed smiles. Luo Feng too smiled as he watched this scene. "Don't take such a risk. It's not worth it." Ji Qing hugged Hong tightly. Hong gently caressed her hair. After which the two separated and their eyes met. "Everything has passed. Those obstructions have all vanished." Hong looked at Ji Qing and smiled. "What?" Ji Qing suddenly let go of Hong's hand and retreated. Qing. Hong frowned. "Sorry, it's not worth it." Ji Qing looked at Hong. "Go. Just treat me as your memory. Go." Hong's expression changed. Luo Feng, who was watching from the side, was stunned too. What was going on? His big brother had thought of all sorts of ways to finally get Fantasy Spirit Emperor to stop obstructing them. However, why did Ji Qing herself say such words? Qing. Hong stared at Ji Qing. From her eyes, he could deduce whether or not she had been hypnotized or some other technique. P.S. The second chapter has ended. Tomato continues writing the third. Chapter 636. Hong looked into Ji Qing's eyes. The eyes were the window to the soul, especially for Hong, who cultivated his heart realm to an extremely high level and had extremely keen observation skills. He could completely determine whether Ji Qing had been hypnotized, bewitched, or other secret arts through the minute reactions in his eyes, or if he was speaking from his heart. What's going on? What did His Majesty Qing mean by those words? What else could it mean, break up? Why did he suddenly break up? Didn't he refuse to submit before, hence he was locked up in the pagoda? Why did he suddenly change his mind? In the distant walkway, the Devils and Spirits clan ladies were all discussing softly. They too were curious. What was supposed to be a joyous occasion, how did it become like this? Hong looked quietly at Ji Qing. Ji Qing too looked at Hong. From her eyes, Hong could deduce that Ji Qing wasn't hypnotized. "Why did you suddenly decide to leave me?" Hong looked at Ji Qing. "You told me before, there are some things I should do and some things I shouldn't do. When making decisions, you have to be decisive. What needs to be sacrificed should be sacrificed," Ji Qing said softly. Even though her voice was soft, even Luo Feng, who was standing behind Hong, could clearly feel the determination in this short-haired lady's words. "Hence you sacrificed our feelings for each other?" Hong asked. Ji Qing didn't speak, just gritting her teeth and nodding. "Sacrifice?" Hong stared at Ji Qing and said in a low voice, "Why didn't you say these things when your patriarch and your teacher tried to stop me? Why did you force yourself to resist them? However, now that I've asked my brother to help me, I finally met your teacher, Fantasy Spirit King, and risked my life to clear the 18 love illusions. When I successfully cleared the 18 love illusions and came to find you happily, you are telling me these things. Why? Why did you suddenly change your mind? Why didn't you say it before?" Hong stared at Ji Qing. Ji Qing was silent. Hong's rage was already rising. Luo Feng, who was standing beside, was also unsatisfied. How did everything become like this? This Ji Qing had been resisting the ancestor and teacher, but now she suddenly changed her mind at the last moment. "Look, that Hong is about to go crazy. Anyone would go crazy. I heard he risked his life to pass the 18 levels of love illusions. If he wasn't careful, he might even lose his life in reality. Now that Qing Majesty suddenly said these things, how could he not be angry? It's me. I'm angry too. How can I give up such a good man? The women of the evil and spirit clan discussed among themselves and watched the development of the situation. Hong looked at Ji Qing. Ji Qing lowered her head. I have to make a choice. Love is important, but some things are more important than love. That's what you told me. Hong took a deep breath. Have you really made up your mind? Hong asked softly. Ji Qing nodded. Hong revealed a bitter smile. I never thought that after so many years, the first time I fell in love with a woman would be like this. Ji Qing bit her lips. Even though she was a strong woman, and could make many decisions within the family, she even felt that she was much stronger than her father. Even when facing those undying senior brothers and sisters, she didn't have any thoughts of lowering her head. However, in front of the only man she loved, she always felt weak. Ji Qing. Hong looked at her. The short-haired woman raised her head and looked at the man she loved the most. I hope you can achieve your goal and dream. Hong smiled. At the same time, I'm sorry for bothering you during this period of time. Finishing, Hong turned and walked towards Luo Feng. Third brother, let's go. Hong looked at Luo Feng and said. Following which, he vanished into thin air. Luo Feng looked silently at all of this. He then looked at the distant short-haired woman who was holding back her tears, sighing softly. South. He too vanished into thin air, his consciousness returning to reality. Big brother Hong. Ji Qing watched as Hong turned and left. In her mind, Hong's final words resounded. Sorry for bothering you during this period of time. Bothering me? Bothering me? Ji Qing muttered within. She was very clear on Hong's character. That seemingly simple sentence of sorry for bothering you during this period of time, and then he turned and left, it hid a great deal of pain. Also Ji Qing understood that the moment Hong left, he probably wouldn't turn back, because she understood him very well. Sorry. Ji Qing said within. The onlookers of the evil and devil tribe were all a little dazed. They thought that Hong, who had obtained the opportunity by risking his life to pass the 18 love fantasies, would be in pain, sad, angry, and would do something extreme. But none of them had expected that he would just say, sorry for bothering you during this period of time, and then turn around and leave. Just like the Undyings under the Virtual Universe Company, their palaces were all on Thunder Island. The palaces of the Universe Mercenary Alliance's Undyings were all gathered on the same plane. Everything that happened in the Fantasy Spirit Palace was quickly spread by the servants as they chatted. Consecutively passing the 18 levels of Love Illusion's Fantasy Spirit Emperor set up, this punk is not bad. At least he's very strong against love illusions. His other aspects shouldn't be too bad. And he's a special elite of our Battleaxe Coliseum? Arrange for someone to recruit him into the training camp that's currently undergoing training. Yes, Lord. Ganwu Universe Country, one of the 9 first-grade administrative planets, Jade Dome Planet. Luo Clan Villa. Luo Feng looked at Hong before him and sighed within. Ever since 3 days ago, the seemingly perfect ending matter suddenly changed. Luo Feng had already made up his mind then, even directly telling Hong, I'm sure, she was originally so determined to resist her teacher and the head ancestor. However, at the last moment she suddenly changed her mind. That's not normal at all. If it wasn't Silver Snow official causing trouble, then it was Fantasy Spirit Emperor causing trouble. Hong replied back then, of course I understand. Either Silver Snow official or Fantasy Spirit Emperor influenced Ji Qing. But big brother, why did you just leave like that? Just give up like that? Luo Feng asked. Maybe others influenced it, but the decision was made by Qing Qing. Hong smiled indifferently, and I'm very familiar with Qing Qing's personality. She's very similar to me. Once she makes a decision, it's very hard to change. And I could hear that she made that decision from the bottom of her heart. Why? Luo Feng asked, why did she give up? Because of herself, or for the family? Hong sighed softly. I'm very familiar with her. She's a very strong person, her determination to become an absolute warrior, it doesn't pale in comparison to her desire for love. And she has a very strong determination to inherit the family. Standing within the villa, Luo Feng looked at Hong, recalling the conversation between the two of them 3 days ago, sighing within. No matter what, this big brother of his had a tragic ending. Luo Feng, don't feel bad for your big brother. Hong smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Life has its own joys and sorrows, and, after I passed the 18 levels of love illusions, the upper echelons of the Battle-Axe Coliseum took notice of me. They even specially ordered me to enter the elite training camps. If it wasn't for the special order, I'd have to wait a few decades before I can enter. Luo Feng nodded. Take care. Don't worry. Hong smiled and nodded. Luo Feng, my disciple and I will leave first. The white-haired old man Luo said. Luo Feng nodded. Immediately, Luo Feng and Hong entered a circular disc-shaped purple and gold universe ship with a diameter of 620 m parked on the grass patch. This was the ship the Battle-Axe Coliseum specially sent to pick up Hong. Big brother, make a name for yourself, let Fantasy Spirit Emperor take a look. Luo Feng shouted. Haha! Walking to the cabin door, the black-clothed Hong turned and laughed. Make a name for yourself, I've never doubted it. Third brother, you can't relax, otherwise big brother might catch up to you. If you have the ability, go ahead and chase. Luo Feng laughed loudly. After which Hong laughed loudly and entered the universe ship. After a while, this huge disc-shaped universe ship slowly rose up, leaving the Luo villa and quickly rushing into the sky, disappearing into the depths of the clouds. On the grass patch, Luo Feng looked up as the universe ship left. Your Majesty. Dylan stood behind him. Big brother has gone to the Battle-Axe Coliseum's elite training camp. Luo Feng exclaimed. No matter what, big brother's matter is over, this matter ends here. There's no need for me to stay on Jade Dome Planet anymore. Dylan, go make the arrangements and prepare to head back to my home. Yes. Dylan nodded. Luo Feng looked up. Home. Milky Way. Earth. It had been over 200 years since he'd returned to Earth. His Luoshire family was already a big family. It's time to go back and take a look, Luo Feng thought. That day, Luo Feng brought his guards and sat on the Unmo planet ship, leaving Jade Dome Planet and heading towards his home Milky Way, Ganwu Universe Country, about tens of thousands of light years away from Jade Dome Planet, a very normal life planet, Vero Planet. Vero Planet within an underground base. Leader, the information has been sent through the Virtual Universe Network. After 369 levels of translation and the universe coordinates, we've gotten the information. Luo Feng has just brought his guards and left Jade Dome Planet in an F-grade universe ship. His destination is unknown, the information department has deduced. The probability of Luo Feng heading towards his home is 72%. A silver-uniformed bald, three-eyed man said respectfully. The other bald, three-eyed man in a black uniform was looking at the screen in front of him. On the screen, there was a detailed information. It was information on Luo Feng. The information on number 9 is still very little. We have to gather enough information and have absolute confidence before we can carry out the assassination. Within humanity's 1008 universe country territory, every time we carry out an operation, we have to pay a huge price. We have to do it once and succeed. The last time we failed to assassinate number 1, our losses were huge, we can't fail again this time. The black-uniformed bald three-eyed man said. It was already June. Today he had just boarded a plane back home, everything was stable. June, Tomato definitely wouldn't disappoint everyone. It was said before that April and May wouldn't be able to explode. June, Tomato returns. Work hard. June, work hard. Brothers, your monthly votes, all support Tomato, the new month, many of you have your monthly vote. Chapter 637. At the same time, Order the nearest 13th Squad to search for Number 9's home, Milky Way Earth. The black uniformed bald three-eyed man ordered. Yes. The silver uniformed underling replied respectfully. The quiet underground base once again regained its peace. The members of this mysterious organization were usually very quiet, rarely speaking. When Luo Feng brought his guards and sat in the UNMO planet ship and traveled at 50 times light speed, there was a seemingly normal C-grade black disk-shaped universe ship that had already reached a region of the Milky Way galaxy's dark universe. It maintained its slow speed within this region. Captain, this space has already been hidden by a powerful undying space technique. We have no way to head to Milky Way Earth. The green uniformed tall and sturdy ape man said respectfully. A sharp voice suddenly resounded. The situation is the same as the information we've gathered. We indeed have no way to head to Earth directly. Unless we go through a wormhole and spend another 3 years to reach Earth. The second is to request the organization to send a powerful undying to directly break through this space technique. Another green uniformed tall and skinny lady said respectfully. There were a total of 8 green uniformed men and women, and standing before them was a silver uniformed old man. The silver uniformed old man nodded. The first situation is to go through a wormhole and fly in the actual universe for 3 years. This is something the organization can't tolerate. And to break through the space technique, we need a powerful undying. Any undying hiding within the 1008 universe countries is an incomparably precious resource of the organization. This matter. I will report it to the leader. Dark universe. The blood-colored triangular-shaped universe ship was advancing with shocking speed. As the distance between J-Dome planet and Milky Way Earth was close to 100 million light-years, even if it traveled at 50 times light speed in the dark universe, it would still require about 2 months to reach. All the guards were quietly within the resting cabin. The main resting cabin's metal walls were filled with vines. The densely packed vines were everywhere. The lush green leaves swayed, causing the spacious resting cabin to seem like a small forest. The nutrition cabin's door suddenly opened automatically. Hua Hua, his naked body stood up from the nutrition fluid. Haha, after a month, I've finally reached the peak of the Domain Lord realm. Luo Feng smiled as he stepped out of the nutrition pod and stood naked in the resting pod. He looked at the vines that covered the entire pod and his eyes suddenly flashed. With a glance, he clearly counted that there were a total of 216 main vines in this dense cluster of vines. You succeeded? The cloud contact vine has already completed its evolution? Luo Feng looked excitedly at the cloud contact vine. Hua! The surrounding countless vines flew over, almost like an extremely happy child hugging his parents, completely enveloping Luo Feng, swiftly shrinking and merging together, very quickly. The cloud contact vine that originally covered the 10 m diameter resting cabin had become a jade-green armor that stuck to his body. Luo Feng's eyes flashed. The color of the cloud contact battle armor kept changing. Sometimes it was silver-white, sometimes it was dark green, sometimes it was fiery red, and sometimes it was pure black. At the same time, its consciousness transmitted waves of joy and happiness. The cloud contact battle armor also grew many leaves and swayed happily. Even though Mo Yun could change colors in the past, it wasn't as easy as this. Sector Lord level, it's indeed the pinnacle of evolution for the human body. Luo Feng praised within. From Star Traveler to Sector Lord, the human body's genetic evolution was the leap. From Sector Lord to Undying, the main thing was the evolution of the soul. Hence the Sector Lord level was already considered the pinnacle of evolution for the human body. Of course, other life forms were still different from humans. A Sector Lord cloud contact vine with 216 vines is much stronger than a normal cloud contact vine. Luo Feng was delighted within. The later it got. Even at the same level, the difference between a normal and a genius would only get bigger and bigger. At the star level, the geniuses of the universe didn't have many who could comprehend the origin laws. Even if they were strong, they wouldn't be that much stronger. At this time, the difference between a genius and a normal person wasn't huge. However, at the universe level, the same universe level 9, those who could be called geniuses would be able to comprehend a portion of the universe origin laws. At this time, the difference in strength would start to grow, reaching Sector Lord level 9. Origin law comprehension, internal world, self-created techniques, special encounters etc., caused a normal Sector Lord to have a huge difference in strength between a genius Sector Lord and a normal Sector Lord. Even in history, there were some absolute Sector Lords who could kill official level Undyings at Sector Lord level. From this, one could see how huge the difference between a normal and an elite Sector Lord level 9 was. The later it got, the more serious the difference became. One theory: the golden horned beast and cloud contact vine were the same. At the start, the golden horned beast and cloud contact vine didn't have a huge difference in strength between their races. As their strength grew, the elites became more and more shocking. At Sector Lord level, the most perfect cloud contact vine could evolve to 360 vines, the lowest only had 36, the difference in strength was more than 10 times. Cloud contact vine, the more perfect and outstanding it is, the harder it is to break through to Undying. Luo Feng caressed a leaf on his shoulder, saying softly, "Back then when my teacher nurtured the cloud contact vine Sector Lord, he only had 108 main vines, you however have 216. However, I'll definitely let you evolve into an Undying." The leaf on his shoulder immediately began to dance. "You've already reached Sector Lord level. What you need to do now is to reach Sector Lord level 9 pinnacle as soon as possible." Luo Feng let go of the leaf, it waved up and down, after which it immediately disappeared into the cloud contact armor. It's very hard for the cloud contact vine to break through to Undying, however, the golden horned beast's breakthrough is even harder. Luo Feng sat crossed-legged within the resting cabin, pondering. The bloodline memories were extremely vast and complex. Within it were warnings and examples of breaking through to Undying. There were countless examples of golden horned beasts being stuck at the pinnacle of Sector Lord. 99% of them were unable to break through. Many golden horned beasts, when they were at the pinnacle of Sector Lord, they were already strong enough to fight Undyings, however. They were still stuck at the Sector Lord level 9 until they died. This was the fairness of the universe. The stronger the life form, to become an Undying, the harder it was to become an Undying. Compared to the golden horned beast, for a human to become an Undying, it was tens of thousands of times easier. Of course, the resources humans had when they grew couldn't compare to the golden horned beast. "Ever since I left the primal region, I haven't tried absorbing the crystals. Let's give it a try." Luo Feng's eyes gleamed as he sat crossed-legged. Within the internal world, just like a black mountain range, the golden horned beast rumbled as it got up. Ever since the demon note inheritance ended till now, it had already been over 10 years. Luo Feng originally thought that according to the rules, a few years would be enough for him to absorb the 100th crystal, however reality was out of his expectations. Absorbing the 100th crystal was incomparably difficult. Especially that killing aura. The killing aura from the 100 crystals seemed to have a change in quality due to the change in quantity. Every time Luo Feng tried, he would always fail. Chi! The golden horned beast's two huge lake-like eyes stared at its right claw. Its right claw already had a wound, fresh blood flowed out like a fountain, the blood river crystal floated on top of the fresh blood. Rumble! The endless killing intent of the 100 crystals stacked together, forming an incomparably terrifying willpower attack. It was like a tidal wave crashing over, each wave stronger than the one before. It continued to stack on top of one another, each wave becoming a stepping stone for the next, accumulating continuously. Luo Feng's willpower was condensed and mellow. This time is much better than the last. I feel I should be able to hold on. Hold on! I have to hold on. After a while, Luo Feng entered a state of muddle-headedness, to the point where he was about to lose consciousness and collapse. However, his faith held on. Only when the killing aura surpasses a certain threshold would Luo Feng completely collapse. After some time, the endless killing aura swiftly retreated like a receding tide, leaving behind a sense of peace. Luo Feng's consciousness that was almost in a coma instantly awoke. Damn, I've successfully withstood the killing aura attack. Luo Feng was elated within. Then, an incomparably terrifying pain immediately passed through the golden-horned beast's body, transmitting to Luo Feng's 3 consciousness bodies. In the cabin, the Earthling's main body suddenly knelt on the metal floor. His fingers gripped the metal tightly, leaving only some white marks. He gritted his teeth so hard that blood flowed out. Within the inner world, the Masha clansman and golden-horned beast were in so much pain that they were going crazy. Especially the main body that had absorbed the Blood River crystal. At times, it would smash against the metal mountains within the internal world, at times it would use its claws to rip the ground, at times it would roar, at times it would fly up and howl, at times it would dive down and smash against the ground. Ouch! The radiation was so intense that his consciousness was about to collapse. Hurry up! Get over there! Luo Feng and the Masha clansmen were howling. Howl! Howl! The golden-horned beast too was howling in pain. Suddenly, the golden-horned beast's huge body was like a huge mountain as it fell onto the ground. It seemed incredibly tired as it laid on the ground. This was the most painful time since absorbing the crystal, and compared to the 99th crystal, it was way more painful. It was so painful that Luo Feng almost collapsed. I've finally succeeded. The golden-horned beast rumbled as it stood up, activating the huge amount of Blood River energy within its right claw. Immediately, the right claw started to mutate. The bones, muscles, scales and the basic composition of the cells started to change. This caused the scales on the surface of the right claw to become incomparably tighter and thicker, becoming a glaring gold. The entire right claw had become a pure gold color. Simultaneously, the claw was covered in blood engravings. The engravings' blood-red color and the scales' gold color completely blended together, forming a very striking mix of blood and gold. And if one were to combine the right claw's sharp claws with the engravings, it would become a roaring beast god sculpture head. The complete beast god skull roaring painting. Howl! The golden-horned beast gently stepped on the blood-gold right claw. Rumble, the entire ground shook and cracked. Good, so terrifying. Beside, the Masha clansman and the golden-horned beast stared at the transformed blood-gold right claw. P.S. First chapter here, I'm now number 2. Continue to work hard. Chapter 638. At this time, Luo Feng finally understood that acquiring so many crystals on Blood River continent was a huge win for him. Compared to the demon note inheritance, the benefits were much greater. Of course, the main reason was because the golden-horned beast's genes were much more suitable to absorb the crystals than humans, otherwise the benefits wouldn't be this great. The result of absorbing 100 crystals made Luo Feng overjoyed. After absorbing 99 crystals, the golden-horned beast's right claw was 9 times more compatible with the universe origin laws. At the same time, the right claw itself was equivalent to the golden-horned beast's entire body's strength. This was equivalent to doubling its body's strength. And at this time, the universe origin law compatibility was about 10 times. The increase was very little. However, this right claw, just this claw alone, was equivalent to 10 times the strength of the golden-horned beast before it transformed. Yes, from 1 times to 10 times. Just the right claw alone was equivalent to 10 times the strength of its body before transformation. Once the strength was completely condensed, it was 11 times. The golden horned beast's pure body strength was 1 unit. Unleashing deities of the world, with its second level already at the small success, it could reach 5 times, its body strength was about 5 unit. And then, activating the blood river energy, adding 11 times on that basis, it was already close to 55 times. Unleashing its natural talent strengthening, the right claw's ferocious attack would reach 110 times its basic body strength. 110 times. What concept was that? Even if the golden horned beast didn't use its spirit energy or genetic energy, just the explosive strength of its body alone was 110 times its original strength. And it already had a strong foundation, adding on the comprehension of the beast god statue, the ultimate move, tearing sky claw. Just thinking about it was terrifying. If it was just absorbing 99 crystals, the difference in strength would be too huge. Because the increase in body strength could be continuously stacked with the strengthening of deities of the world. Hence, it was so terrifying. Normal golden horned beasts wouldn't be able to train deities of the world as well as me. Luo Feng thought. And under normal circumstances, I wouldn't even have the chance to acquire the beast god statue, much less absorb so many crystals. My willpower is much stronger than many undyings. Even if the golden horned beasts acquire the crystals, they probably won't be able to absorb them. Many fortuitous encounters combined. Luo Feng's willpower, the golden horned beast's body condition, the resources provided by the Virtual Universe Company, along with a bit of luck, finally created such a terrifying golden horned beast. Compared to the golden horned beast, the Masha clansman's battle strength was much weaker. The golden horned beast is still not strong enough. First of all, his comprehension of the laws is far from enough. His sky-ripping claw isn't even 1/100th of the beast god's sky-ripping claw concept. Secondly, I'm currently at the second level of the deity of the world, but I've only cultivated part of it. The second level of mastery would allow one's physical strength to increase by a full 9 times. If I can complete the third level of deities of the world, that would truly be insane. Luo Feng thought to himself. In his heart, ever since he heard his teacher mention that absolute genius Kudi was able to kill an official level undying when he was at the pinnacle of a sector lord. I, Luo Feng, will be able to kill an official level undying even at sector lord pinnacle. If he can do it, and I have the golden horned beast, why can't I do it? Luo Feng thought this way. That Kudi definitely had many fortuitous encounters, and many secret. Otherwise, just based on his comprehension of the origin laws, he couldn't possibly be that insane. Hence, even though Luo Feng had these fortuitous encounters, he didn't feel proud at all. The universe is vast and boundless, with special encounters and fortuitous encounters, there will definitely be many. Truly combining everything together, using it well, only then will I become an absolute warrior. Luo Feng thought, as long as I train on Earth for a few decades, I'll be able to officially step into the sector lord level. When that time comes, my origin law comprehension will be able to undergo a period of rapid growth. Sector lord, that was the true explosive growth period. What Luo Feng was doing now was to build his foundations stronger and stronger. That way, when he reached the pinnacle of sector lord, he would be able to explode with terrifying power. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. Within the UNMO planet ship's control room, Luo Feng and Dylan stood within. Immediately beginning universe travel and entering the solar system. Countdown 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The ship slightly shook. Very quickly, through the external simulation, Luo Feng and the others saw a familiar starry sky, a burning hot star. Surrounding it were planets, constantly revolving around it. This space was the solar system. We're back. Luo Feng let out a long sigh of relief, his eyes filled with complexity. So, the UNMO planet ship swiftly approached Earth. as AF-grade ship, and one that had been modified by humanity's most advanced virtual universe company. This ship's technology was extremely high. At least, Earth's security system had no way of detecting an F-grade ship. After flying for a while, Luo Feng looked at the distant red planet that was very close to Earth. Mars. It actually changed so much. Luo Feng laughed. Your Majesty, what are you laughing at? Dylan asked curiously. Look, that planet. Luo Feng pointed at Mars. Green planet. Dylan was curious. No, 200 years ago it was still a red planet. Luo Feng laughed, however, because it's the easiest planet to modify in the entire galaxy for humans to live in, plus its area isn't too big, at least it's not as big as Earth. With Earth's current strength, they can modify the entire planet into a life planet. Modify? Dylan was puzzled. The price of terraforming a life planet is much higher than buying one. Luo Feng laughed. Right, it was much higher. However, right now the Luo family was the leader of the Milky Way. Earth's position was extremely high and rich. However, the moment they left through universe travel, to return, they would have to travel through a wormhole for close to 3 years. 3 years of travel time, to the people of Earth, was simply too long. Many people couldn't bear to leave Earth, hence they would rather modify Mars. Modify Mars into a life planet. Within the solar system, humans currently resided on, one was Earth and the other was Mars. Of course, there were other satellites like the Moon, however satellite modification was much easier. Very quickly, the UNMO planet ship neared Earth's atmosphere. Wow, so many ships coming and going? Dylan couldn't help but exclaim, I've been to many life planets, and it's rare to see so many ships coming and going. Luo Feng looked at the distant universe ships flying out of Earth, some heading towards the Moon, others towards Mars. He couldn't help but laugh. These ships don't seem to be going through universe travel. Luo Feng laughed and explained, Earth and Mars, along with a few satellites, have large amounts of ships coming and going daily. Transportation is very convenient. Just like a long-distance coach, public bus. Large amounts of ships coming and going between Earth, Mars and the many satellites. The humans of Earth could travel between Mars and Earth within a day. They could totally eat breakfast on Earth in the morning, go to Mars in the afternoon for lunch, and return to Earth to sleep at night. Also, to the Milky Way leader Luo family, buying a large amount of A and B grade ships was simply a drop in the ocean. The humans of Earth only needed to spend a small amount of money to take the ships to travel between Earth and Mars. The ships operated by the Luo family were only for the wages of a single employee. Everyone leave the ship, Luo Feng suddenly ordered. Rumble, the guards on the UNMO planet ship, swiftly left the rest cabins. Dylan, you are in charge of hiding everyone's tracks. I don't want to be discovered by Earth. Suddenly there are over 1,000 people outside Earth's atmosphere. Luo Feng smiled. That's easy. Dylan nodded and smiled. A great undying, if he couldn't even avoid Earth's detection, that would be too laughable. After a while, Luo Feng and the guards stood in space. As for the UNMO planet ship, it was kept in Babata's storage space. Dylan, keep the guards in your portable world. Luo Feng smiled. I'm returning home, it's better not to make a big fuss. Yes. Dylan nodded. Dylan looked at the 1,000 guards standing in space. With a wave of his hand, they were all kept in his portable world. The worlds created by sector lords were very convenient, and these worlds could even allow life to live in. However, only sector lords could create worlds. The moment one became an undying, he couldn't create worlds anymore. Hence, during sector lords, they would usually create many worlds as backup. As the price was higher, the number of worlds created were very few. Shem, let's go. Luo Feng swiftly rushed into the atmosphere, Dylan following behind. Passing through the atmosphere, very quickly, Luo Feng could see the land of Earth. That's the Pacific Ocean. Luo Feng identified the geography below. This way. So, Luo Feng and Dylan's flying speed had reached a terrifying level. Within a second, they had gone from the Pacific Ocean near North America, flying straight to the Asian continent. What a beautiful planet! Dylan looked at the planet below and exclaimed, "Your home is not bad. You didn't come 200 years ago." Luo Feng smiled and looked below. Right. Earth had changed greatly. Before the Grand Nirvana period, Earth was very lively. However, the pollution back then was very serious, even the skies were gray. After the Grand Nirvana period, the entire Earth entered the apocalypse. Many cities became playgrounds for monsters, becoming ruins, and the vast ocean was completely ruled by monsters. Humans could only live in the headquarters cities, carefully. However, as Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God left Earth to roam the universe, Earth began to change greatly. With large amounts of technology and resources, even a normal planet could be transformed into a life planet. Then, transforming Earth was naturally very easy. So beautiful! Luo Feng looked below. He couldn't help but exclaim. The entire Earth had become a green ocean, all sorts of plants and flowers covered the entire Earth. There were even some small animals living in the forests. These animals were just normal animals, and not the monsters from back then. The ruined cities had completely disappeared. Oh no! There were still a few ruined cities, like museums, for the new humans of Earth to visit. P.S. Here's the second chapter. Continue writing the third chapter. Chapter 639. It's changed. The population density is much smaller. Luo Feng flew high in the sky, surveying the city below. There were almost no food-growing areas on Earth. The land was mostly inhabited by humans. The outskirts, the city structures were all very beautiful. The sky was blue, the ground was lush green. Even in the most bustling city, there were very few skyscrapers. Only a few of them were worth commemorating. Your Majesty, where did you live back then? Dylan smiled as he asked. There. Luo Feng pointed at the distant bustling city, Jiangnan headquarter city, one of the 8 great cities, Yangzhou City. This city's name is still the same, however the entire Yangzhou City has changed too much. Yangzhou City was now one of the most famous cities on Earth. Just the permanent population alone reached 20 million, along with the large amount of tourists coming and going, the countless worshippers that followed Luo Feng's footsteps. It made Yangzhou City extremely bustling. In the great transformation of Earth, Yangzhou City's position had already risen to the same level as Jiangnan headquarters city. Yangzhou City, the city where the Luo family's old residence was. Dylan, in a while, change your appearance a little. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at the black-robed bald man beside him. You obviously don't look like an Earthling. You'll attract attention. Understood. Dylan nodded. At the same time, his immortal power surged, and his body and face flowed like water. Soon, he turned into an ordinary-looking bald, yellow-skinned man. He looked no different from an ordinary Earthling. Even his clothes became a set of common casual clothes. So, Luo Feng and Dylan swiftly rushed down. The two didn't even alert the city, silently arriving on a street in Yangzhou City. This is the high school I studied in back then. This is the street I often pass by. It's still the same. That is the cheap house I lived in for a long time. Luo Feng and Dylan walked, looking at the memories from over 200 years ago. As a universe warrior, Luo Feng's memory was extremely strong. He could even recall memories from when he was a baby. It's really lively here. Dylan pointed at the distant vast dojo of limits. That's where I train. Luo Feng smiled. Back then I was a student there. His Highness cultivated here in the past, and His Highness is now a Milky Way overlord. No wonder this martial arts dojo is so lively. Dylan also smiled and nodded. Luo Feng turned his head and pointed at a restaurant not too far away. Let's go eat at that restaurant. I didn't expect it to still be here after 200 years. Luo Feng wore a pair of sunglasses and directly entered the restaurant with Dylan. After entering the restaurant, Luo Feng and Dylan realized that there were quite a few people gathered in the restaurant. They were all spectating. It was very lively. The habit of people from my hometown to watch a show hasn't changed. Luo Feng let out a smile and walked to the corner of the restaurant to see what's going on. The restaurant was in a mess. Tables, chairs, bowls, and chopsticks were smashed to the ground. A slightly chubby yellow-haired young man was followed by 4 bodyguards dressed in black. Another young man dressed in training clothes stood in front of a girl. Fatty Yen, don't take a chicken feather as a token of authority. The youth in the training clothes wiped the blood from his mouth, pointing angrily at the chubby youth. Didn't you want to clear the place? You can clear the place, but why did you purposely find trouble with me, Yang Ji? What, you want to rely on your boss bodyguards to cripple me? I'm not targeting you. Who asked you to not give my boss face? The yellow-haired fatty laughed coldly. Now hurry up and scram. He thought within, this Yang Ji's improvement was really fast. He was actually able to withstand the attacks of his boss bodyguards and not be crippled. Chi, the youth's blood rushed to his head. He couldn't help but spit out another mouthful of blood. Aji, Aji. The lady supported the youth. Are you all right? Are you all right? Relax, I'm fine. The youth snorted softly, looking at the yellow-haired fatty. If I hadn't just broken through, I'm afraid I would have been crippled just now. However, we're already downstairs, in public, and this is Yangzhou City. This fatty Yen is just an errand boy. He doesn't have the guts to mess around. The yellow-haired fatty shouted coldly. Boss, I told you to clear the place. Why aren't you letting this punk scram? The restaurant's owner, a skinny youth, smiled and walked out. Yen Huan. The lady behind the youth pointed angrily at the yellow-haired fatty. My brother will be here soon, don't get too cocky. Everyone move away. A group of policemen became blurs, swiftly separating the crowd. Tens of policemen quickly occupied the important spots in the restaurant. Luo Feng, who was standing in the corner, couldn't help but to smile. Police? Right now, the police on Earth, from the looks of it, were all at least at the warlord level. That's right, after all, the weakest people on Earth were all at least at the warrior level. Who's causing trouble? The leader of the group of policemen, a tall and sturdy man, scanned the scene. Brother! The girl seemed to have seen her savior, shouting. Sister! The tall and sturdy man saw that his sister wasn't injured and let out a sigh of relief. However, looking at the pale face of the youth in the training uniform beside her and the bloodstains on his clothes, his expression immediately changed. Brother Yang Ji, what's going on? Brother, this fatty Yen brought people to clear the place for his boss. Of course we wouldn't mess with his boss, hence we were preparing to leave. However, that fatty Yen was purely against Aji, purposely looking for trouble, even getting one of the bodyguards to make a move. Luckily, Aji forced his way to the first floor. This was a public place with so many people outside, hence they didn't dare act rashly. If it had happened upstairs, I'm afraid. The lady's eyes were filled with tears. The sturdy man turned and stared at the yellow-haired fatty. The yellow-haired fatty, however, had a smile on his face, bringing the 4 black-clothed bodyguards behind him, smiling at the sturdy man. Captain Wang. The yellow-haired fatty smiled. Yen Huan, don't go overboard, this is Yangzhou City. If things get out of hand, no one will be able to protect you. The sturdy man shouted. The yellow-haired fatty smiled. Right, this is Yangzhou City, the Luo family's Yangzhou City. Not just Yangzhou City, even the entire Milky Way belongs to the Luo family in this place. Messing with the Luo family, no one will be able to protect you. The group of policemen were all silent. The captain stared at the yellow-haired fatty, shouting softly, Little sister, let's go. Following which he went to help the training uniform youth. The yellow-haired fatty smiled as he watched this scene. In the corner of the restaurant. It seems to have something to do with Your Majesty's family. Dylan smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng laughed too, it seems so. Suddenly there was a commotion outside, the large number of spectators outside swiftly dodged. Only a suppressed voice could be heard. It's the Luo family genius ship. Outside the restaurant, a dark blue ship with a diameter of about 30 m slowly descended. As it descended, black uniformed bodyguards swiftly jumped down, swiftly surrounding the restaurant to protect it. The boss is here. Within the restaurant, the yellow-haired fatty's expression changed. His hands were like a blur, swiftly picking up large amounts of broken tables, chairs, bowls, and chopsticks. "Hurry and clear the trash," the yellow-haired fatty shouted to the surroundings. Immediately, the 4 black uniformed bodyguards behind him, along with the group of waiters, swiftly cleared the trash. Within a short 10 seconds, the entire first floor of the restaurant became empty. At the same time, a brand new carpet was laid. At this time, outside the cabin door of the ship, a curly-haired fat youth walked out and landed. Following behind him was a devilish purple-clothed girl. Luo Yanzhang looked around. Outside the guards, there were many people watching excitedly. "That's the Luo family genius, young Master Luo Yanzhang. It's young Master Luo Yanzhang. Look, his eyebrows are very similar to Luo Feng's. I've come to Yangzhou City for a vacation. This is the first time I've seen someone from the Luo family." The surrounding people were all in an uproar. Luo Yanzhang was very calm about this. The Luo family was a Milky Way leader family, and because of Luo Feng, even the royal families of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire were incomparably warm, not daring to offend them. And the surrounding low-level civilizations of the universe were all trying to curry favor with the Luo family. Even though they didn't establish a country and call themselves royalty, however, in the eyes of the people of Earth, the Milky Way leader Luo family was equivalent to royalty. As a family with only 200 years of history since Luo Feng, compared to the royal families with at least 1,000,000 years of history, the number of members in the Luo family was much smaller. Just counting the males, there were only a few hundred of them. Hence, to be able to personally see a member of the Luo family was simply too rare. "Nah, let's go in." Luo Yanzhang smiled and said to the girl, "I've wanted to come long ago. I heard this restaurant has existed since the Grand Nirvana period." The alluring girl said excitedly. Luo Yanzhang smiled and nodded. The two entered shoulder to shoulder. Within the restaurant, as the group of policemen didn't have time to leave, they were still in the restaurant. "Young Master Luo." The policemen all bowed respectfully, including the captain too. Their bowing was from the bottom of their hearts. Even though the Luo family was extremely powerful, they didn't have many scandals on Earth. At most some small matters. After all, the legendary figure of the Luo family, the head Luo Feng, had very strict requirements for the family. Luo Yanzhang smiled and nodded, after which his gaze swept the restaurant. He couldn't help but frown, as he realized there were signs of battle within. "Boss." The yellow-haired fatty ran over. "Humph." Luo Yanzhang's eyes were filled with anger, causing the fatty to squeeze out a smile. Yan Huan was Luo Yanzhang's classmate, plus Yan Huan was just as fat as him, and was good at coaxing people, hence Luo Yanzhang made friends with him. Luo Yanzhang looked at the blood-stained training uniform youth beside him, smiling. "Yang Ji, are you all right?" "I'm fine, young Master Luo," the youth said. Luo Yanzhang nodded. "All of you leave," Luo Yanzhang ordered. Immediately the group of policemen, the youth, the girl and the customers who didn't leave in time all left. Luo Yanzhang ordering them. They felt it was a very normal thing to do. Ignoring everything else, just Luo Yanzhang's own strength was already at the Star Traveler level. Within the restaurant. "The last time I ordered you to teach him a lesson, but that depends on the situation." Luo Yanzhang stared coldly at the fatty, communicating, "Don't throw my face when you do things, understand?" "Yes, boss," the fatty said. Luo Yanzhang's body trembled. His expression changed. He suddenly turned to look at the corner of the restaurant, his eyes filled with shock, because he had just ordered everyone to leave, and he could feel that everyone had indeed left. Those two standing in the corner, as a star traveler, he didn't sense them at all, almost as though they were air. This punk seems pretty vicious, one way on the surface, another way in the dark. Roaming the universe, with this personality, he can at least live long enough. However, it doesn't seem like yours. Is he from your Luo family? Dylan asked. Right, he is indeed from my Luo family. He's called Luo Yanzhang, my 8th grandson. Luo Feng said to Dylan, noticing Luo Yanzhang looking over. Only then did Luo Feng take off his sunglasses. Simultaneously his facial muscles twitched as he looked at Luo Yanzhang. Ah! Luo Yanzhang's expression immediately went pale. His forehead beaded with cold sweat. 3 chapters completed. Now that the monthly votes are number 2, Tomato needs everyone's support. Chapter 640. He was completely shocked. He, Luo Yanzhang, was Luo Feng's 8th grandson. As a member of the Luo family, even in the Milky Way, or even in the Black Dragon Mountain star field, he had a very high position. However, no matter how high his position was, to the head of the Luo family, the legendary being that caused the entire Earth's position to rise, Luo Feng, he was just a small punk. Also, the Luo family's rules were very strict. He definitely saw it, the head definitely saw it, definitely saw it. Luo Yanzhang's forehead was covered in sweat. He looked at the man who was taller than him, looking normal, yet his gaze was so sharp it made his heart tremble. The man before him was the one he worshipped the most, the head of the Luo family, the most legendary being on Earth. Luo Feng, big brother. The yellow-haired fatty shouted curiously. Yan Zhang. The enchanting lady shouted too. Luo Yanzhang stood before Luo Feng, filled with fear and trepidation, not knowing what to say. He was only the 8th generation's grandson. The Luo family had many disciples, plus Luo Feng often immersed himself in training for many years, occasionally returning to the virtual universe Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay. These juniors that were born 10 years ago had at most seen Luo Feng 2 or 3 times, like Luo Yanzhang. From birth till now, he had only seen Luo Feng 3 times. Luo Feng had only spoken to him once. In Luo Yanzhang's heart, the head Luo Feng was a high and mighty being. The restaurant was silent. Everyone felt that the atmosphere wasn't right, especially the black-clothed guards who looked curiously at the black-haired man in the corner. Why did he look like Luo Feng? Immediately return home, don't mention me to the others, they'll immediately forget about me. The black short-haired man glanced at Luo Yanzhang. Yes. Luo Yanzhang held his breath and said respectfully. The surrounding people saw the genius young master of the Luo family being so respectful, and hearing the man who looked like Luo Feng say that they'll immediately forget about him, they couldn't help but be shocked. Let's go. Yes, Your Majesty. The black short-haired man and the other bald tall skinny man flashed and vanished. Only Luo Yanzhang and his group, along with the waiters and boss, were left in the restaurant. The guards and waiters who were still shocked earlier regained their normal expressions, almost as though the two had never appeared. Patriarch indeed possesses unimaginable strength. Luo Yanzhang looked at his subordinates and could not help but hold his breath. Just now, my conversation with Yan Huan must have been discovered by the family head. What should we do now? What to do? Although I knew that clan head would come back in a year or 2, who would have thought that clan head would come back to this small restaurant instead of returning home directly? Luo Yanzhang felt bitter in his heart. Boss, let's go eat, said the blonde fatty. Yanzhang. The enchanting young lady also called out. Shut up. Luo Yanzhang shouted angrily, scaring both the fatty and the girl. Unable to accomplish anything, but more than enough to spoil things. Luo Yanzhang stared coldly at the fatty, at the same time shouting, Go, let's go back. Nana, go back by yourself. I have something important to do. Yes. Although the group of black-clothed men were puzzled as to why their young master suddenly wanted to go back after coming here for a meal. But they still obeyed, surrounding Luo Yanzhang as they boarded the private ship and left. Earth. Luo family. The Luo family was a family with an extremely high position. Even though Earth was still managed by the Earth Federation, but because the entire Milky Way belonged to the Luo family, naturally, the Luo family's position had become special. And the Earth Federation was mainly made up of the upper echelons of the 5 great countries. Yangzhou City, Luo Family Mansion. The outermost perimeter of the old mansion had large numbers of uniformed guards patrolling daily. These guards were all very proud and arrogant, because it was simply too difficult to become a guard of the Luo family. Firstly, many of the guards of the Luo family were universe slaves bought directly from the Luo family, star-level and universe-level slaves. Hence, the standards for accepting guards on Earth were naturally higher. Even though they were of the same race, the lowest requirement was still the war god level. However, as long as they joined the Luo family, even if they were originally war god level, they could very quickly reach the Star Traveler level. The Star Traveler level was extremely normal in the Luo family. Recently many big shots have returned. Right, even Lord Puyang has rushed back from the Qinjing star field, which is extremely far from the Black Dragon Mountain star field. I heard he took a ship and rushed through the Dark Universe for close to half a year. I heard young Master Hai has also given up on exploring the universe and rushed back. The servants within the mansion discussed softly. The Luo family, as a powerful family, usually had many of their disciples on other planets. Only a few remained on Earth. However, recently, many of their disciples had swiftly rushed back from various parts of the universe. These servants too sensed that something was amiss. Luo Family Mansion, in the core of the mansion, within a quiet courtyard. This courtyard had a very special position in the Luo family. Because this was where Luo Feng's little brother Luo Hua lived. Within the courtyard. Big brother. Hua. Luo Hua pushed open the door and walked out. Seeing Luo Feng and Dylan standing in the courtyard, he couldn't help but shout excitedly. The 2 brothers immediately gave each other a bear hug. It's been over 200 years, we haven't met in reality. Luo Hua smiled. It's been a long time. Earth has changed a lot. Luo Feng nodded and looked at his brother. Over 200 years, his brother didn't seem to have aged at all. He just had the aura of a scholar. Where are my parents? Luo Feng asked. Do you even need to ask? Of course they're fighting in the virtual games. Luo Hua smiled. I don't know what's up with them. They're actually so obsessed with virtual games. Luckily they've been strengthened to universe level. Their consciousness and thinking abilities are extremely strong. That's why they don't confuse the virtual world with reality. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. The most obsessed with virtual games in the entire Luo family were his parents. He had heard from his father that back during the Grand Nirvana period, when they were fleeing, they had read some web novels to pass the time. Amongst them were some web novels. Therefore, Dad and Mom were especially obsessed with those virtual games. And those virtual games were 100% simulations. Hence, if the game time was too long, it would be easy for humans to not be able to differentiate between reality and fantasy. This was a mental illness that many of the rich families in the universe often suffered from. However, Luo Feng used all sorts of resources to force his parents and brother to reach the universe level. This method of creating a universe level of resources was enough to buy a small universe level slave army. Of course, to the Luo family, creating a few universe levels was like a drop in the ocean. Big brother, you don't know this. Every time my parents see me, they always excitedly discuss the games with me. They say they're killing everyone in the games, becoming a big boss or something. Luo Hua shook his head and smiled. They even say their lives are worth it. Every time they play a game, it feels like a lifetime. 100% simulation. It really feels good. Luo Feng smiled. As long as Mom and Dad are happy. Every virtual game, playing for a few decades feels like a lifetime. Luo Hua smiled. Spending a bit of money can allow my parents to have a lifespan of 1,000 eras. They can indeed play many virtual games and experience many stories. Luo Feng nodded. Life was not the same. When his parents were young, Earth's calamity erupted and they fled everywhere. Occasionally they could get some novels to read. After fleeing for many years, they finally settled down in the headquarters city. However, they still lived in a cheap rental house, working hard to take care of the two brothers. All the way until they were about 40 to 50, their son Luo Feng rose up. His parents could finally enjoy life, fulfilling their childhood dreams, exploring the virtual games one after another. It was incomparably satisfying. Of course, to be able to enjoy games to their heart's content, one had to have money and two had to have time. The stability of humanity in the universe, for the normal people to enjoy so much, it's all because of the countless warriors protecting it. Standing behind Luo Feng, Dylan said solemnly, "There are countless races in the universe. Some of the pinnacle races fight against each other. The weaker races either become vassals or form alliances, fighting for their own survival. Every moment there are humans dying because of this. If one day those warriors fall one by one, humanity declines, the normal people won't be able to continue enjoying themselves." Luo Feng and Luo Hua were stunned. Following which they nodded. "Your Majesty, you have the talent to become an absolute being." Dylan looked at Luo Feng. "Even my teacher praises you and thinks highly of you. You will also become one of the pillars supporting humanity." Luo Feng. Luo Feng. A silhouette rushed into the courtyard. Luo Feng turned to look. It was Su Xian with long hair. "Wife." Luo Feng laughed. "The moment you returned, you immediately came to find your brother." Su Xian snorted. "Didn't I use my spirit energy to scan earlier and didn't find you at home?" Luo Feng smiled as he walked over, changing the topic. "Right, when I returned, I saw that punk called Luo Yanzhang. His way of doing things was a little—" "You mean Yanzhang?" Su Xian's eyebrows were filled with anger. His way of doing things is indeed a little problematic. The family is secretly gathering evidence on him, however it's good. This punk at least hasn't done anything heinous. Since you've brought it up, let's bring him to the family court as soon as possible to judge and punish him. Managing a family, especially one that would last for 10,000 years, 1,000,000 years, or even 1,000,000,000,000 years. This definitely couldn't be decided by one person, and Luo Feng didn't have the energy to manage the rewards and punishments of the entire family, hence there had to be family rules. That was how the clan's internal court came to be. "All these years, you haven't bothered with anything." Su Xian stared at Luo Feng. "Speaking of the family court, I'll report to you. Over these years, there have been 3 disciples that have been executed, 37 have been punished, some light and some heavy. That punk Yanzhang has good talent and improves very quickly. What he's done isn't considered a big crime, plus he's young. I think the punishment will be to send him to a mineral planet for 3 to 10 years. Luo Feng nodded. The Luo family's family rules, compared to some of the big families in the universe, were much stricter. Chapter 641. After chatting with his wife for a long time and meeting his 2 sons, the Luo family held a banquet that night. The Luo family disciples all rushed back from all over the universe. In the evening, the family gathering began. The bustling family disciples gathered together. "Greetings, family leader." The 2,000+ people in the large hall all knelt respectfully and bowed. "Ha ha!" Luo Feng sat in the main seat, smiling as he looked at the 2,000+ people below. There were males and females within these 2,000+ people. Over the past 200 years, it had been passed down through many generations. The one with the lowest seniority was the 11th grandson. Of the 2,000+ people kneeling below, there were a total of 500+ males in the family. The others were the girls born within the family. Of course, most of them were daughters-in-law, granddaughters-in-law, great-granddaughters-in-law, great-granddaughters-in-law, etc. Although there were many men in the family who were monogamous, the later generations, because they had roamed the universe and seen the world, were influenced by some of the families in the universe. Many of them married a few wives, and some even had dozens of wives. Because in the universe, the strong and powerful had many wives was very normal. Of course, the males attending the banquet today would at most bring 3 wives, they didn't dare bring too many. All rise. Luo Feng ordered. Yes, family leader. The 2,000+ people all stood up. Luo Feng looked at the babies carried by their parents below. Many of them were blinking as they looked at him. Some had light blue eyes, obviously mixed blood. Su Xian. Luo Feng said softly to his wife beside him. Right now the later generations of the family seem to have more wives and more children. Su Xian nodded. Just like your 9th grandson Luo Kudi, he has 51 wives, a third of them are of earth blood, the rest are from other races in the universe. Of course they are very similar to Earth's women. This is our family rule. He has 21 sons and 28 daughters. Luo Feng was speechless. Luo Kudi? That was fierce. Right now the atmosphere within the family is like that. The Luo family is getting stronger and stronger, especially with you as the supervisor envoy. As one of the 4 Leviathans of the Ganwu universe country, many powerful ancient races have come to befriend you. Su Xian said helplessly. These younger generation disciples have seen too much, naturally they are influenced. Those large families in the universe, some have tens of thousands of wives and children. Compared to them, our Luo family is considered good. Su Xian said. Luo Feng was silent. This is the normal direction of a clan's development. Moreover, for a clan to prosper, it indeed needs to be big enough and have enough numbers. Only then will the probability of producing elites be higher. Su Xian smiled and said, those ancient clans and great clans, which one of them doesn't have hundreds of millions of disciples? Just within the family itself, they can nurture a group of sector lords, domain lords and universe levels are countless. Luo Feng smiled bitterly. Assuming that each of his descendants married dozens of wives and gave birth to dozens of children, perhaps after hundreds or thousands of years, the number of descendants in the Luo family could be counted in the millions. The reason why humans are so powerful, Dylan, who was sitting beside him, said in a low voice, is because of their strong reproductive ability and large numbers. Luo Feng turned to look at Dylan. Reproduction? Dozens of children? Why does it feel like a sow giving birth to a bunch of piglets? Mr. Dylan is right. Su Xian smiled and nodded. If the family wants to be strong, it can't always rely on one person. He also needed a large number of disciples. There are only about 500 males in the family. Compared to the ancient clans in the universe, it's pitifully few. All right. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. His own generation, Luo Ping and Luo Hai's generation, at least the first few generations were mostly monogamous, occasionally marrying 2 or 3 wives. As time went on, especially the 6th generation, 7th generation, it was getting more and more exaggerated. Right now Luo Kudi has tens of wives. I'm afraid in the future our Luo family will have even more powerful disciples. Luo Feng smiled lightly. Beside him Su Xian said, in the future, it wouldn't be strange for him to have thousands or even tens of thousands of wives. Luo Kudi. Sitting beside Luo Feng's little brother Luo Hua smiled and said, Big brother, who came up with this name, it's very accurate. Luo Kudi, that punk's strength is average, but he has so many wives and sons, and he's still young. I've seen this punk before, he's very good at business. The family gave him 3 life planets as territories. Not only did he build many palaces in them, he even built palaces in many other places in the universe. It's to hide his wife. He's so young and already has 51 wives. I'm afraid in a few decades, he'll have hundreds and thousands of wives. Luo Kudi. Luo Hua shook his head. Just relying on his large group of sons and daughters, he defeated the enemy. What a good name! Let me remind you all. Su Xian smiled. 51 wives, that's the reported number. According to the family's information system, that Luo Kudi has 62 more women that he hasn't reported. Luo Feng and Luo Hua exchanged glances. Speechless. Talent. The undying Dylan was at the side, laughing lightly. During this banquet, Luo Feng and the group of babies had a good time. Of course, the one that shocked him the most was that Luo Kudi of the family. Luo Feng had a feeling if this went on, the family would become bigger and bigger, of course compared to the Black Dragon Mountain Empire imperial family, or the Jishur family etc. ancient families. Even if the family had over 100 million people, it wouldn't even amount to 1/10,000 of the ancient families. After the banquet, Luo Feng, Su Xian, Luo Ping and Luo Hai gathered together. Dad, Luo Hai asked, how long will you be staying this time? Little Hai, this time on Earth, I'll be staying for a very long time. Luo Feng smiled and rubbed his son's head. Of the two, Luo Ping was more stable and well-behaved, while Luo Hai had a hot-blooded heart, studying in the Ganwu dojo, adventuring in the universe, along with the family's resources and nurturing. He was already a star level 8. How long is very long? Luo Hai asked. Luo Ping looked at his father. The shortest would be a few hundred years, the longest would be over 1,000 or 10,000 years. Luo Feng smiled. During my time as the supervisor envoy, I'll be staying on Earth in reality. Unless there's a mission from the Virtual Universe Company, I'll be on Earth for the rest of the time. Haha, long live. Luo Hai cheered. Pa. Luo Ping and Luo Hai clapped and cheered. Luo Feng and Su Xian smiled as they saw this. There were many disciples in the family, but the most emotional ones were still these two. These few years, I won't be venturing out anymore. Luo Hai shouted. I want to be on Earth. Haha, Dad, your guard team actually has 10 sector lords, 100 domain lords, hee. There's even an undying. There'll be many who can guide me in the future. If there's nothing important, don't disturb Dylan, once or twice is fine. Luo Feng instructed, and you're just a star level 8 punk. The 10 sector lords in my guard team are all recognized by the origin laws. Each of them can easily guide you, you just have to find them. Luo Hai nodded. Understood, Dad. Recognized by the origin laws? The entire Black Dragon Mountain starfield added up didn't even amount to that much. Su Xian. Luo Feng looked at his wife. My plan is to purchase some high-tech products from the Virtual Universe Company to modify the Earth. Modify the Earth? Su Xian, Luo Ping and Luo Hai looked shocked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng nodded. Dylan. Luo Feng shouted, simultaneously his voice transmitted to a house 1 kilometer away. South Dylan appeared from thin air. Your Majesty. Dylan shouted. Luo Ping, Luo Hai and Su Xian's attitude became more serious. After all, Dylan was an undying. Tell them about my plans to modify the Earth, Luo Feng said. Dylan looked at Su Xian, Luo Ping and Luo Hai. Your Majesty is true Yen Emperor's disciple, and you made it into the primal region in your first qualification battle. You're definitely one of the most elite geniuses of the Virtual Universe Company. And the Virtual Universe Company values a genius. Similarly, the other races in the universe will value you too. Su Xian, Luo Ping and Luo Hai were shocked. The universe isn't peaceful. The wars have always been ongoing. Dylan said, the armies of the various universe countries, large amounts of soldiers have fallen, however those people are only considered cannon fodder. An absolute genius like your Majesty is the real threat to those races. With your talent, as long as you don't fall, then becoming an official level undying is basically a done deal. Even becoming an emperor level undying is a possibility. Even having a sliver of hope of becoming a high and mighty universe country leader. To such an absolute genius. Humans value it, the other races value it too. Humans value it, nurture it, the other races value it, killing it early, Dylan said. Su Xian, Luo Ping and Luo Hai's expressions changed. Dylan smiled. However, don't worry, the elites of the other races that are able to infiltrate humanity won't easily reveal themselves. After all, it's not easy to infiltrate without being discovered by us. Plus the absolute geniuses, since they haven't truly matured, their positions are at most official level undyings. Dylan said, and in truth, to break through the space techniques and come to Earth, one has to at least be an official level undying proficient in space technique. Even so, that official level undying won't personally act, because the moment he does, he'll be exposed, in the center of the human territory. He won't be able to escape. Luo Feng nodded, hence you all don't have to worry too much. Su Xian, Luo Ping and Luo Hai nodded. It's not easy to infiltrate in an official level undying. To those races, his value is probably equivalent to an emperor-level undying that doesn't manage to infiltrate. Dylan smiled. They can't bear to. The stronger they are, the harder it is to infiltrate the human territory. The moment they succeed, they are all important chess pieces. However, we can't be careless. There are many ways to kill them. They can use poison, automaton weapons, some special methods. Dylan said, anyway, there are many ways to kill them. Su Xian, Luo Ping and Luo Hai were all shocked. You all don't have to worry. Every time a supervisor envoy is sent out, if they can't even guarantee their safety on a planet, then those geniuses would have long died. Dylan smiled. The Virtual Universe Company has long since developed a perfect remodeling plan for the planets the geniuses stay on. At least it can guarantee the geniuses are absolutely safe on the planet. Only when they leave the planet and go on a mission would there usually be danger. Luo Feng smiled. Trust in the Virtual Universe Company's ability. Right, how's the Bug Clan mother nest? Luo Feng asked. There were two main things he wanted to do on Earth. One was to modify it, the second was the Bug Clan mother nest plan. P.S. I've reached the second chapter, continue writing the third. He actually didn't even have time to write the mother nest plan. Sweat.